Hola, buenas.
Saturday. Are you awake? Well, over here in the West Coast, it's like 7 40 a.m. and you gotta be fired up no matter where you are. Put a two in the chat if you're awake. Didn't you hear the most amazing corporate overview by our leader, Michael Chernowski, and that opened by Wendy Robbins? We have a wonderful team and we got to utilize these corporate overviews. Invite. We definitely have them throughout the week, but especially on our monthly corporate overview, we gotta invite more guests. So I love it. Thank you so much for selling us the dream, Michael and Wendy. We're about to get started. Thank you, AV DJ. I recruited my husband. He's gonna be quiet today, but he's gonna be our AV DJ. And just to welcome you all, my name is Lorelai Mazares. I am an executive marketing director here. I also run the operations for our Inspired division under Heroes. And let's see if your reactions are working. Because like even when I'm on meetings with Eric Olson, I put hearts and butterflies and what we can. So thank you. Let's see if your reactions work. Let's see if your chat works. I can see Rochelle DJ Florio and Darian DJ Flo. I see your chat works. So let's make this interactive because
This meeting is being recorded.
I miss our in-person events, but Zoom is the next best thing because we're zooming and booming, whether you're in the East Coast, West Coast, or everything in between. But the audience makes the speaker. So if we have a great meeting, it's not because of me or the speakers, it's because of you. And I just want to quickly say that for this meeting, you got to set the intention. So if you have something in your mind, it doesn't matter if we're going to be here for the whole day or for a couple of hours, write a question that you want to get answered today. How do I get better in recruiting? How do I get better in selling? How do I grow my business? How do I grow myself? One question, put it down, and I promise you're going to get it answered today. And just really quickly wanted to just let you know that I used to be an elementary school teacher for almost 10 years. I've been doing this business for 14 years with the amazing Florio. And I'm just excited to get going with this recognition. Put a fire emoji just like Janice Dixon did in the chat if you're ready to hear what the Heroes Hierarchy did in the last month. I'm excited. Some people are awake. Some people are fired up. Let's go. So get your intention ready, whether you wrote it down or you have it in your head, because I want your business and yourself to get better after today, because today's going to be life-changing, but only if you let it. So let's get on with these slides and recognition. So fired up. Let's see. The Hero Making Machine. We're celebrating July's 2026 milestones, new energy, new focus, new level. Let's go. It's a new month now that we're in all out August, but we want to see what did we do in July. All right. A hero is any person really intent on making this a better place for all people. So thank you to the Chernowskis, to Michael and Rochelle for just having this hierarchy where we're just growing, learning, and getting better together. So just want to give a special shout out to our leaders. So Maya Angelou, love that quote. All right. Honoring the heroes who show up, rise up, and level up. Let's see who we recognize. And one thing that I want to say about recognition is sometimes people are like, I don't want to go to recognition, Lorelai, because my name's not there. But guess what? It's to recognize that you're not there so you can be there next time, but also it's to clap onto others because that's what you would want to be done onto you. So I want to see the chats lighting up and I want to see all the emojis because we want to clap onto our teammates. So let's go. Let's see who did something this month. So where does it all start? With the new licensed agents. Let's see who got licensed, joined license, or maybe you passed your exam and became licensed in the month of July. So Adriana Mendez Calzadia, Alexander Buell, Alexis Ward, Anika Bazil, Antonio Harris, Asefa Omer, Brianna Lamaki, Chante Henderson, Chaz Mathis, Craig Werenberg. Congratulations to all of you champions. Diane Kramer Lees, Hal Griffiths, Jaylee Santana, Kelly O'Neill, Lakita Mosby, Logan Chase, Mario Helborn, Ruben Diaz, Stacy Steele, Tony Gaskins. Congratulations. That is the first step. I think most of the people on this call is licensed. Some of you who are here and maybe are not licensed yet, this is the first recognition you want to get, that you passed your exam, you got that official license, so now you can do business. Because remember, no license, no pay. So let's see. What is next? And just a little caveat, if for some reason your name wasn't there, no big deal. Congratulations to all of you that got licensed. Now, after that first pay cycle with GFI, because first you have your license. Now you got to go out there and help families make a difference and then get your first cycle. So let's see who got their first cycle in July. Congratulations to Carolyn Oswali and Michael Haggard. Awesome, awesome job to both of you for getting your first official GFI pay cycle. Love it. Who else? Leon Jones and Elliot Elamine. Congratulations. Look at that. Don't you see their faces get like happier when they get their first paycheck? Because I know when you see cycles, you're like, yes, that's me. Congratulations. Lane Morford and Marcela Gonzalez. Also, first paychecks. Look at them sharp in their recognition flyer right here. Excited for them to make more money here in GFI. All right, so that after you get licensed and then you get your first paycheck, the next goal for all of you is to get your first $1,000. So a lot of you here on the call, I see maybe you've already been net licensed and some of you haven't yet. So let's see who earned their net license this past month. All right, Elliot Elamine, not only did he have his first paycheck, but his first $1,000, and Michael Haggard too. Congratulations, champions, for making your first of many thousands in GFI. Leon Jones, Bambi Valdez, and Carmela Myers. Congratulations to all of you agents that earned your first $1,000. More, there's more. Stephen Heron, Cal Martinez, and Maricela Gonzalez all earned their first $1,000 in GFI. All right, let's see. And after that, or even during that, you can also earn promotions. So make sure you talk to your leader. Go, how can I get a promotion for the same amount of work, but with a higher pay? Let's see. Congratulations, Michael Haggard. You not only got your first paycheck, your net license, you also got promoted to senior associate. Congratulations to you, Michael, for this first of many promotions. All right, now we're gonna take a look at the July cash flow to see cycles over $1,000. And let me just say, we get paid 8 to 9 times a month, every Tuesday and Friday. So if you see someone's face and it's a Tuesday or Friday, yeah, and they're smiling, you know that they got a paycheck. There's a lot of people making money on the team, but unfortunately, you'll see there's slides and slides. We only recognize those that have 1,000 or more. You get a flyer, but you still get a congratulations if you make $999. So let's see all those money makers. All right, so All of these are in the thousands. So Santos, Santos and Carolina, over $1,000. Isaac Estrada, Fabiola Duran, RJ and Angel. Look at that, Florio, Paris, Santos and Elliot, all between 1,036 to 1,439. I see the checks are growing. So Augie, Christina, Louis, Tony, Elaine, Arjane Angel, Florio, and Florio. I'm seeing doubles, triple, but all from $1,439. Go back one slide to 2,299. Awesome. Do you see the checks getting bigger? Put some money bags there if you see the checks getting bigger. Anybody know how to use the money bags? Okay, next slide. All right, so now we're in the 2000s, 2,300 all the way to 2,765. We have Tony, Elliot, Bryson, Lauren, Santos and Carolina, RJ and Angel, Michael and Rochelle, Santos and Carolina, Kizzy. Look, you're like, how come I see like some of the same faces? Because these are the money makers. You can make money every Tuesday and Friday. So congratulations to all these champions. Let's see. I know my blood is raising because the money is getting higher. Michael and Rochelle starting with $2,905 all the way to $3,690. We have Bryce and Lauren, Melba, Naomi, Florio, Bryce and Lauren, Kyle and Hannah and Leon, ending with that $3,600 check. Love it, love it. Congratulations. What these checks represent are all the families you're helping. And with a 3,859 RJ and Angel, and then into the 4 and 5,000 range, Jason and Amanda, Santos and Carolina, Augie, RJ and Angel, Melba, Michael and Rochelle, Santos and Carolina, all the way to $5,018. I'm getting so excited, and it's still 7:52 in the morning here in Pittsburgh, California. Let's see who else is making money here. Bambi Valdez, $5,117 all the way. Kizzy's at the 7,347 mark. Wow. So Bambi, Mark, Drew, Wendy, Michael and Rochelle, Andre, Florio, and Kizzy, all between 5,117 to 7,347. You got to know math here. You got to know math. You got to learn how to read names. Love it. Love it. You can do this too. So now these are the big ones. I'll actually save the check. So RJ and Angel Pimentel made $10,133. Oh, I love RJ and Angel. I know they just had birthdays, anniversaries, a lot of celebrations going on here. That was nice money to use to celebrate. Congratulations, RJ. Thank you for doing a crusade class for our division. So amazing. Michael and Rochelle Chernowski leading the way with $11,178. You see Rochelle's smile? That's like my smile when I see when Florio makes money, but love it. Michael and Rochelle leading the way because it's nice to have a team, but are you do it first leaders? And they definitely are. Wendy Robbins, my sister, $11,569 in one paycheck. Not 10, not like the whole month, but in one paycheck. You're so lovely there, and you look even more lovely with that $11,000 check. So great job, Wendy. Michael and Rochelle, again, $13,405. Amazing, amazing job leaders, just showing us the way. We're just following in your footsteps. Tom and Jennifer Russell, congratulations for making $17,194 on this July 28th pay cycle. I love it. I love it. That means that they helped a family, made a difference, and it shows in their paycheck. All right. And look at that. That's cute, Florio. $19,898. Thank you. Thank you for my lunch money. Thank you for my grocery money. Congratulations. Andre Scroogy with $23,709 in one cycle. So you know how we started with the $1,000 checks and now we're in the $23,000 checks. Remember, these are still one checks, one check, one check. So congratulations to Andre for helping a family, making a difference, and getting rewarded for doing that. And I think there's one more, just one more, because that wasn't enough. Andre also made $25,944 on the July 28th cycle. Congratulations for helping more families. The more families you help, the more rewards your own family gets. So, so proud of you, Andre. With that said, I'm going to take a break for a moment and I'm going to pass it to Santos and Carolina to do the Super Team July recap. And I'm going to be able to talk about him a little more because he's going to be training today. But I just want to say that I'm so thankful to this couple because if it wasn't for them, Florio and I wouldn't be here in front of all of you. So I'm so blessed to be in business with Santos and Carolina and Florio. And they've just made a difference in my family's life and to all of the people that they have touched. So I will say more in a little bit, but Santos, I'm going to pass it to you.
Thank you very much, Lorelai. You have done a wonderful job. All those memes and all the chats, you got me fired up. So keep it going, please. I was having fun just reading and watching those. So thank you very much again, Lorelai. Well, I was given the privilege to do the second part of the recognition. So I'm going to get right into it. I'm excited for this because these are the big players. So let me do this. All right, that's my beautiful wife, Carolina, right there. So let me get into it. I'm gonna do the top 5 for total cash flow in July. That's what we start with. So let's see. Let's see who are the top cash flow in July. So let's get into it. All right, I'm gonna start from the bottom up as we recognize Wendy Robbins for having earned $18,142. Well done. Keep those big round of applauses going. And then number 4, Thomas and Jennifer Russell. That's great with over 18,000. Our good friends RJ and Angel Pimentel with over 25,000. And then we have our great teammate, business partners, Florio and Lorelai with over 37,000 just in 1 month. So they're number 2. But then we have number 1. I'm wondering who number 1 is. So let's see. There's only one number 1. So everybody could go like just number 1 like that. So let's see. Andre Scroggy with almost $57,000 in 1 month. How would you like to turn your annual income into your monthly income? That income right there is for some people's annual income. Do you know that? That's wonderful. So that's what you can achieve here in GFI. Turn your annual income into your monthly income. And that's what I saw when we first came into the company. And I said, if I can do that, I'll be a hero. So that's what we're doing here. So very well done. Let's move along. But very well done for Andre. And then we have the recruiters. Recruiting is the answer, right? Rita, recruiting is the answer. So we always say that there's only one number 1, but in this case, we have 3 number 1s because they're all tied. So Mark Rubin always giving us the great example of how to recruit with 3. Lane Morford with 3, and Antonio and Elena Harris with 3 personal recruits. So very well done. That is the future, right? Production is the present, but recruiting is the future. So if you want to predict your future, see your recruiting numbers. So all these gentlemen, all these people here have a great future because they're building a team. Well done. All right, let's move along with personal producers. These are the people who are helping clients, sitting them, doing financial analysis, providing them great strategies so that these people end up with great position in life financially, right? So let's see, who are they? Number 5, Marisela Gonzalez. She has been in business only 1 month with us, and she's already number 5 in our hierarchy. So well done, Marisela. Very well done. I'm proud of you. We have been working really close to her, and we're seeing the results that she's having, right? We only provide the environment and the guidance, but she does the work. So well done, Marisela. Number 5 in your first month. That's a huge deal. Number 4, we have Wendy Robbins, helping a lot of clients. Number 3, Florio and Lorelai again. And number 2, Thomas and Jennifer Russell. Do you see how these names repeat? All right, that's how it is. In number 1, Andre Scroggie, number 1 with, I believe, over 60,000 personal points, but that's a huge deal. So let's keep going. In August, let's see who's going to be number 1 in August in helping clients. So super proud of all the people here in this slide, and let's keep going. All right, let's see who else. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, Base Shop Recruiting. These are the Base Shop that are recruiting big numbers. So let's see. Number 3, Florio and Lorelai. Well done again. RJ and Angel Pimentel, number 2. And our upline leaders and mentors, Michael and Rochelle, giving us the example, leading by example on how to be number 1 in recruiting in the Base Shop. So very well done. Proud of everybody here. And let's learn from them. We're going to hear from some of these people today. Let's learn how to expand our teams. Well done. All right. And then you know that if you produce a certain amount of production, you get some bonuses too. So these are the people who got not only the regular paychecks, but on top of that, a nice bonus too. So let's see. Number 3, we got Florio and Lorelai. Again, very well done. Number 2, RJ and Angel Pimentel. And number 1, Michael and Rochelle. So let's give them a big round of applause again. Let's keep those emojis coming. You got me fired up with those. So excellent. Let's move along. All right. And then we have top Base Shop production. In production, we have RJ and Angel Pimentel, number 3, Andres Scroggie with number 2, and Michael and Rochelle, number 1 again. So very well done. All these wonderful people working hard, not only helping people personally, but also in their base shops, making a huge difference in people's lives. So well done. All right. Now, this is the good part here, the milestones. We always want to have some milestone every month. We can only measure if we are growing, if we are achieving milestones, right? So this is I'm super proud and happy, and I feel privileged that I was given this opportunity to recognize these milestones. So let's see what we have. All right. Bryce and Lauren, they reached their second diamond, $200,000 in just in the last 12 months. That is a huge deal. Super proud of them. This couple, they say that it's hard to find a champion, but it's even harder to find a champion married to another champion. And I definitely see these two as both being champions. They're both full-time. They're both committed to the business. They're both committed to their families, both committed to their faith. They're both committed to being a great team players. Them in Florio and Lorelai, they work really well together. They combine everything. They make a great team. And that's how they're achieving great things. And this is just the beginning. I know that the 250 ring is coming soon. And then the third diamond, right? But for now, let's recognize them for the second diamond in the ring. Very well done, Bryce and Lauren. I am super proud of you. Thank you for giving us all the great example of how to win here. All right, let's see. We have another milestone. Let's see. I'm nervous. Let's see. I wonder, do you know who's coming next? Let's see. All right. These people, this couple are very close to our hearts. We have been business together for 14 years. They have always been loyal to us. They have always been a great team members, team players in our team. So we just couldn't be happier and more proud of Florio and Lorelai for reaching the third diamond. They went to Idaho. They went to New York Stock Exchange. They are going everywhere where there is recognition. They're earning it. So Florio and Lorelai, from my heart, from Carolina and myself, thank you very much for all your work, for all that you do. Again, we feel super proud of you and your family. So very well done. Everybody, let's give Florio and Lorelai a big round of applause because this is a huge deal. They are leading by example. So well done. Excellent. All right, let's see what else we have here. We have some updates and announcements. We always want to keep you updated. And I want to share something before we get into the real training of today. So you know that there is a Summer Sizzler contest, so you have to be aware of it so that you earn it. So it started in June 1st and it's going to go all the way to the end of August. So let's see what you have to do to earn it. All right. So I'm just going to focus here on the top right, on the right side, which is the top 50 SMDs and below. So if you're an associate all the way to SMD, that's for you. All right. So each 1,000 personal points, with obviously is 1,000 points, but then for each personal recruit, you get credited 1,000 points. So what's the contest? Well, number one, you're gonna get all of these that you see here, jersey, all of that stuff. Is Summer Sizzler Leadership Summit, but you also, if you end up in the top 25, you're gonna get $5,000. So yeah, 25,000 points minimum to participate with 6 directs, and you're gonna get $5,000. So I'm looking forward to seeing who is gonna earn this. This is a great contest, and we should earn it, all of us here. And then in the middle, you have the ones for EMDs and above. So we already know what the game is. It's pretty much the same thing, but we have to produce 100,000 base of points and 20 recruits in the base within that time. So that's what we have for announcement and contest. So with that, I want to thank my leaders for giving me this opportunity to recognize this part. And Lorelai, I'm going to give this back to you so that you bring up the first speaker of today. Thanks
Awesome.
again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Santos, for sharing all that recognition. And I want to see your name. So always fight, like put in the chat a C if you're competitive, because, you know, we do numbers, and a C who's competitive here. We want to see more comma checks, more licensed agents, more promotions, more milestones, but you got to be competitive, right? Flora and I, like, we got to be there somehow, some way, like, I got to be there. So next time when we're doing the August recap, fight for your name to be there. So with that said, we're going to start off with our very first speaker. Look at that. So I'm going to give you a little preview. So we're going to be hearing from Wendy, Isaac, Santos, Michael, and Levi. So I'm looking at the chats. I'm looking at the participants. Text a friend. It's not too late, because I know all these champions are going to be giving some great messages. So we can take down that slide and let's make this fun. So I'm going to bring up our first speaker, and just to make sure that you're awake and you're still here, I'm gonna not tell you who it is, but it's gonna be one of those people. All right. So our first speaker, let's see if you really know the team, was a U.S. Army veteran. Do you know who that is? Don't say it yet. Some of you might know. This person has a background in broadcasting and media, and transition to marketing and financial services and business ownership. This person is a phenomenal host and presenter. And what I love so much, look at that. Some people are guessing. I'll say it's a her. It's a her. I love her positive attitude and just willingness to help others. And she's my sister. We text each other, we help each other, and this is the environment that our Chanowski parents, as we call them, have here, that we work together. And Wendy is a prime example of just being there to help out Michael and Michelle. Whatever you need, coach, she's there. And I just love being in business with her. Today, she's going to be talking about our best product. Who knows what our best product is? Let me see. Out of all our products, what is the best product? One person, put it in the chat. What is our best product? Nobody wants to. Nobody wants to be wrong. Okay, I love that. I love that. Okay, some good ones, but yes, it is the business opportunity. Isaac, you got that. And she's going to talk about how we can use recruiting to grow our business. So please help me welcome Ms. Wendy Robbins. It's all yours.
Thank you, my sister Lorelei. Awesome. You and Santos crushed it. Michael crushed the presentation this morning. Every time I hear him do it, I'm like, here, GFI, take another $199 because I'm signing up again because it's just that good. Because guess what? He recruits me every time. And I'm so honored to get to talk about this today. You know, Lorelei mentioned that I was in the military. Do we have, I know we have some more veterans on here because I see Lucia. Do we have some more veterans on here? If so, put a US flag in the chat and thank you for your service. And guess what? Before I joined the military, I got recruited in there. Do you think it changed my life? Yeah, just a little bit, right? So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to get started. And I promise not to take a huge amount of time today because, man, we've got so many other amazing speakers happening today. Oh, you're seeing my email there where a fellow was trying to get on and lost the link. So there we go. You're seeing the whole kit and caboodle. We're all very professional here. Okay, just to keep it fun. There we go. There we go. All righty. So today we're going to talk about the importance of recruiting, and clearly you don't have to be great at Zoom to be able to do that, right? So let me just move all this out of the way. Fantastic. Here we go. Here we go. So the importance of recruiting, it really does start with mindset, because I think sometimes we make up things for other people, and today we're going to talk about that and work through some of those things. So if you're here, it's because somebody thought enough of you to take the time to share this opportunity with you. And I don't think anyone here needs me to tell them how important it is to recruit. And so the bigger question, though, is if we know that it's important, why aren't we doing more of it? And by the way, everything I'm going to talk about with you today, I'm talking to myself as I do this too, just so you know. So, and it's because of what's happening right here. It's what's happening between our ears. You know, we make up things like, we don't want to bother people, or we don't know what to say. We're afraid that they're going to say no. We're afraid that we're not ready, and we think we need to know more first. So today we're going to talk about three things. We're going to keep it very simple. We're going to talk about care, grow, build, because mindset or recruiting really does start with mindset. So put in the chat real quick some of the organizations that you think recruit. I already gave you one. Everybody, very quickly, what are some of the organizations that recruit? Church, good. Sports, very good. Hospitals, oh, good, Janice. Yeah, Army. Yeah, the military altogether. Schools. Yeah, big tech, right on. So great job. Yeah, in fact, oh, Jesus, I love it. He's my best friend. Good job. Good job, you guys. Yeah, so I'm blessed right now working on a deal with the NFL. Guess what? Every single one of their players were recruited. Excuse me. Do you think that those players wanted to be recruited? Yeah, there's a big deal about it every week. And in fact, today is the big Hall of Fame thing happening in Canton. So, excuse me. So as we were, there we go. as I was thinking about today and what we're going to talk about, I also thought about the responsibility of this. Excuse me. If if you have the ability to change a life, it's your responsibility to promote that. You've been given a gift, but that gift should be passed on. So think about that for a second. If we genuinely believe that this business can help someone create additional income, if it can change a family's financial future, if it can give someone more choices, or if it's something that they can build of their own, why would we want to keep that a secret? Because impact left unspoken helps nobody. So let's truly make a difference. And by the way, when we talk about what we do, we can still do it with humility, but we want to make sure that we're not confusing that quietness with humility. So big promotion isn't necessarily ego. I mean, sometimes it's just fact. I mean, look at Lorelai and Florio. That was $300,000. That's a fact. That's not ego. That is a sign of hard work and their belief, because when their belief got in there, those checks started getting, the more they've grown themselves and the more they've grown their belief, the bigger those checks have grown. So if you have something that you can genuinely, that you hold the key to something that can genuinely help someone, there's absolutely nothing wrong with telling them that it exists. And that's why recruiting matters. And every person you recruit represents more than just that person, because think about it, they have their circle of influence. They represent families that you may never even meet. They represent people that they may eventually bring into the business. And so it grows on and on and on. So recruiting is how we're going to impact our business with multiplication. Because if we stop recruiting, eventually we stop growing. And if we stop growing, we limit the number of people that we can help, because it really does become one person represents more than just one person. So please keep that in mind, that it is like throwing a pebble in a lake, and that ripple effect that you have the ability to be able to create. So sometimes we create, or we treat recruiting like we'll get to it after we get all these other things handled, right? But recruiting isn't what we do when we have extra time. It really should be our highest value thing that we do for our business, because without our business, you've heard the analogy before about the McDonald's. You can't work the drive-through and make the fries and flip the burgers and do all the things. Go fix the milkshake machine, because if you ever go to McDonald's and ask for a milkshake machine, let's face it, the machine is probably broken. So you can't do all those things. You need to have a team. And by having a team, it makes a tremendous difference. And sales can change your month, but recruiting can change your whole business, which can change your whole life. So let's talk a little bit about where recruiting begins. It doesn't start with a script. It doesn't start with a list. It doesn't start with an overview. It starts with the way you're thinking about recruiting. So let's look at some of the things that we tell ourselves. I don't want to bother them. I don't, what if they say no? They're so busy. I'm not ready. I don't know enough. Does any of this sound familiar? I don't want to sound salesy. I don't want to pressure them. We're making decisions for them. But what if we changed our thoughts? So what about, instead of I'm bothering them, what if it became I'm helping them? What if they say no, what if it becomes, what if they say yes? What if instead of I'm not ready, it becomes I don't have to do this alone? You don't need to convince anyone. You need to understand the person, because when you take the time to start learning about that person and understanding them, then you're going to be able to make a connection, and you're going to notice that there's going to be a game changer. So your recruiting results will rarely outgrow your recruiting mindset. So here's probably the biggest mindset shift that I want you to leave with today. Recruiting isn't something you're going to do to somebody. It's something you're going to do for somebody. If you take nothing else away from here today, please take that nugget with you. It's not what you're going to do to someone. It's what you're going to do for them. So think about what recruiting actually creates. It creates another licensed professional. It gives them an opportunity they may not have had otherwise. It gives them another income opportunity. And let's face it, folks, you saw the checks today. And what's cool about the fact that those checks that you saw, those were people making at least $1,000, because there's so many other people who are making money that doesn't even reach that comma check. You could have somebody that's making $999.99. We don't even take the time to recognize them because there's so many people making those checks that didn't make the comma club. So where else can you do that you can have a professional job without having to go get a college education and have this kind of opportunity? So, there's a lot that we can do for other people. And those are just some of the reasons why recruiting matters. And we aren't here just to add numbers to our team. And sometimes we do that. It just, oh, how many people, how many of this, but behind every single number that you saw today, there is a person. And behind that person is a whole world. So just think about how many worlds got impacted today. That's pretty cool, right? So think about that. Think about what we're creating as a company and as a team. And you're part of that. You have the ability to help really and truly make some life-changing impacts. So our job is not to convince people. Our job is just to open a door. And then they get to decide whether they walk through it or not. So we're really good at deciding for people, though, aren't we? So we'll come up with, they're too busy, they probably make too much money, they wouldn't be interested, they're too successful, they already have a great job. Did you guys know that Michael Ternowski was actually the number one salesperson in the company that he was with when he decided to leave and to go into financial services? The number one person. If you're sitting there saying, oh, that person's too successful, they're too busy, they already have a great job, they're not recruitable. If the person who had recruited Michael Ternowski into the industry had that thought, none of us would be here today. We are here because of Michael or Michelle Ternowski. So keep that in mind. Keep in mind how one conversation can impact not only your whole life, but thousands more, because Michael and Rochelle have helped more than 34,000 people. It's probably like closer to 35,000 or more now. Think about that. All of those people's lives have been impacted. And those are just clients. That's not even counting all the thousands and thousands of people that they recruited to their teams. So please stop making other people's decisions for them. Your responsibility is just to make sure that they know the opportunity exists. It's their responsibility in deciding what they do with that. So, there's an old saying, and I'm going to give you two sayings today that are kind of cheesy, but you know me, I'm cheesy, but cheese brings a cheddar. So people don't care how much you know until they know. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So you truly have to take an interest in people. And this is especially true when we're talking about recruiting. One of the best recruiters I know said that, and it stuck with me. And part of it is that you should only be talking about 30% in a presentation. The rest of the time should be the other person that you're talking to, or the conversation. It's not even a presentation. You want to have a conversation. So, and the other thing is, there's a reason why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. We want to use our ears a lot more than we want to use our mouth. So, and sometimes we think, oh, I've got to have the presentation perfect. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. No, because if you're just asking the right questions, then it doesn't matter how good your presentation is. It just matters that you're having those conversations and making those connections, because frankly, the best recruiters aren't necessarily the best talkers. They're the best listeners. So be interested, not interesting, but just get curious about people. Find out, use form. I just did this at a event that I went to on Wednesday night, that I was sitting there having conversations with people, and I just went through the whole form thing and had people, I made so many connections. It was unreal. It was amazing. So it's a great way to connect with people. And how often do people really get to talk about themselves these days? And how many times do they have that opportunity to make that connection? So find out what they want. Find out what's frustrating them. That's a big one, because whatever is frustrating them, if it's time, money, they're stuck, they can't travel, they can't do all these different things, you probably have the solution to whatever's frustrating them. Even it's that, I don't have time to clean my house. Okay, what about if you made enough money to hire a housekeeper? You can help with that frustration. So as small as it may be, you have the ability to make a big impact. So find out what they're trying to do, and then find out and think about what you can do to help change that and let them see that for themselves. Because once you understand what somebody wants, then you can help them determine if we might actually have that solution to their issue. So everybody's favorite radio station, it's the same. It's WIIFM. What's in it for me? And it's not selfish, it's human, because we're all the center of our universe. So if you're thinking, oh, what is this person going to think of me? It doesn't matter. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. They're not thinking about you because you're not the center of their universe. They're the center of their universe. And if you're like, oh man, I don't want to look like an idiot. Who cares? Do you think Elon Musk cares what anybody thinks about him? The dude's a trillionaire now. So stop caring what other people think about you. And when somebody looks at this opportunity, they're going to look at it for what's in them. So help them to see that by asking those questions that we're talking about. Find out more about them. They're thinking about their lives. They're thinking about their income. Maybe they want more time. Maybe they need more money. So maybe they're just maybe they already love the career they're in, but they're just not making enough money. Or maybe they hate what they're doing and they're like, please help me escape. We can do that. We can put together a freedom plan for them. So maybe they just want to build something. My dad was an entrepreneur. So ever since I was a kid, I had my first business when I was 6 years old with a lemonade stand. And that entrepreneurial spirit has stuck with me ever since. So maybe they're perfectly happy. They just need more money. Maybe they're looking for a bigger challenge. We don't know. That's why you have to have those conversations. And just because you had a particular why doesn't mean that it's necessarily theirs. That's why you have to meet people where they are. So don't start with everything you know about the business. Start with learning more about that person first. So next, after care, we're going to go to grow. There's a John Maxwell leadership principle that basically says we tend to attract people around our own leadership level. So if you want to attract someone stronger, and if you want stronger people on your team, then you have to do something about it. You have to become stronger. You have to learn. You have to get licensed and keep honing your craft. You have to attend the trainings. There's so often that there are people that I know personally on my team that they want certain things, but yet they never show up for the trainings. They want to be certified field trainers, but they're never here. There are some people today that were like, yeah, I'm ready to do this. Let's go. And I'm going to be there for Super Saturday. Guess what? They're not here today. So attend the trainings, attend any chance you have to practice, get better at communicating, become somebody that people want to follow. This is one thing I love about Lorelei and Florio is they're straight up with like, hey, this is what we did. And this is when we started noticing everything change. Now, if you have not had an opportunity to where I think it's actually on School, where they talk about the schedule that they keep every day. And it is so beautiful and how they have that structure, and boom diggity do, it is like you can tell the results that they're getting from that. They just got another diamond, put a ring on it. Come on now. So, but here's the cool part is that you don't have to wait to become that person. If you are a 4 and you're talking to a 7, just hook up with an 8. That's all. That's all you have to do. If you're a 4, hook up, you're talking to a 7, don't blow it, hook up with an 8. So one of the things I want everybody to do, we're going to wrap up pretty quickly because we have the amazing, incredible next speaker coming up that is such a hero of mine. So this is one thing that I want you to take into consideration. Not only do I want you to have an income goal, but you should have a people goal because one leads to the other. And we're not going to go through all the math of what it takes to get there today. But if you have people that you are putting into your pipeline, you're going to have some people, they're going to want to get licensed right away and they're going to get busy. They're going to get on it. It's going to be awesome. Then you're going to have other people. It's going to take them a little bit longer, but everybody's going to have their own goals. They're going to have where they want to be. So some people want to make just 50,000, some 100,000, 250,000. It doesn't matter. You can't recruit that $100,000. You can only recruit a person, and then another person, and then another person, and then you drop them in our system, and then you let them go from there. So there is a direct correlation between the direct agents that you have and the goals. So that is how you can change your business. So how many direct agents do you have and how many do you want? If GFI said today, if we got a memo that said, congratulations, we're stopping recruiting because we feel like we're big enough, would you be like, oh man, of the 72,000 or whatever we have now, because we're going like crazy, 72,000 people, of those 72,000 people, would you be like, yes, I got the most? Or would you be like, dang, I should have done a lot more? So keep that in mind, because ever how many people you're licensing, your income becomes a lagging indicator of that. Recruiting activity is a leading indicator. So this is a pipeline that I put together. People enter your world, you build relationships with them, then the relationships go to conversations. Those conversations will lead to an overview, and then they're going to make a decision. Then if they decide to go forward, some are going to get licensed, and then most of them will. And then that's where the real work begins. And that is developing your people. And where we get into trouble is we go directly from, hey, it's nice to meet you, to join my business. So don't skip the steps in the pipeline, because otherwise you're not going to get the results that you want. So, I'm going to zip through here real quick. So I want you to think about who are the next 3 people that you're going to talk to. I don't want you to make a decision for them. Don't think, who can I recruit? I want you to think whose life might be better if they knew. Who is that? Take just like 30 seconds right now, write those names down, and don't overthink it. Don't decide for them. Whose life is going to be better because if they knew about this? And then anytime you're thinking about recruiting, think about care, grow, build. Care enough to ask, grow enough to lead, and build intentionally. And who is going to be the next person that you add to your team because you took the time to care. So thank you all very much. It has been my honor to share some nuggets with you. I hope you got something out of that. And if you did, please feel free to blow up the chat and share on our GroupMe's, because let's keep our GroupMe's fired up and filled with golden nuggets, because that just keeps everybody in a better headspace. So thanks, everybody. Awesome to be with you today.
Fired up. Great job to my sister Wendy for that. And I love it. Look at that. We're like on time. We're moving and shaking here. Put a golden nugget of what you learned from Wendy in the chat. And as I shared before in the very beginning, and I know I see more people are logging on, amazing. Still time, text a friend, tell them to join. We're about to bring up our guest speaker. So I hope you heard what Wendy was saying. It's not just the how, but it's the why. It's the mindset of the recruiting that's important. The biggest recruiters are the ones with that mindset, like, how can I help them? How can I get better? How can I improve myself so I attract better people? And circle it. What is that golden nugget that Wendy shared, how all of us can improve our recruiting numbers? So thank you, Wendy, for adding value. We all learned on this call. So we're definitely going to see our recruiting numbers grow for August. So excited. The man of the hour is here. We need to like blow up the chats with like clapping hands. We need to add some fire. Excited. I look at that. Awesome. I'm excited. I have my notebook ready here to take notes. Our very special guest speaker has arrived. He's in the building on Zoom. So make sure if you can turn your cameras on, get your chats going, get your notebook ready, because I know in the next 30 minutes, our lives are going to change right now. Our very special guest speaker is here. I think you all know who it is. Let me just talk a little bit about him. Previously, a hospice nurse, a very hard job. I know I've had to put my family through that, but just this man has a heart of gold. He's a family man, multiple 7-figure earner, has a huge organization. And you know, like how we heard earlier, you're not a, multi 7-figure earner if you don't develop some, but this man has developed multiple 7-figure earners. He's the master strategist, understands this business in and out. You want to understand it, you talk to him. he's extremely loyal to Eric Olson. And if you hear Papa Cap, he says, you know, the greatest sign of love is somebody who's loyal. This man is, I believe, one of the most loyal men in GFI. And the one personal note, and I don't want to take up his time, is that when Florio and I were in Lake Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, just a little while ago, him and his wife Isa sat there with Florio and me, like on the boat as we're like on Lake Coeur d'Alene, just pouring into us, helping us, giving us those golden nuggets to move our business forward. I love this man so much and his wife, and I just thank him for taking time away from his business, his family, to be here to share with us. So Mr. Levi and Boney, we're excited to hear those golden nuggets. We have our notebooks ready, and we're ready to hear your fire.
Thank you so much. Can you guys hear me okay? Happy Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Always exciting moment to come here and share some exciting news with you guys. Laureline and Florio and I have come a very long way, right? A very long way. And I'm so grateful that Michael gave me a chance today to come share some insight with you guys. Before we start, I just want to let you guys know, I know Michael and Rochelle are, you know, the tip of the spear of your organization, and sometimes because they call familiarity breeds contempt, sometimes you guys are too close to them that you miss their sight. But I'm going to tell you, being a sideline with them, that this couple have a heart. They have a heart. I've worked alongside with them. Michael and Rochelle's help Issa and I so much in the business. When we started, you guys know it was extremely difficult because there was no Zoom and stuff like that. And Michael will fly out of Florida to come to Maryland multiple times to help me grow, pour into my team all over. And so whenever he says, Levi, you know, can you jump? I say, how high? I just jump, right? He was the fastest ever and the youngest ever CEO in a whole company. And those records tells you something. They tells you something, right? They tells you something. It tells you their work ethics. They tell you how much they care about the people they work with. And there are two things I want you guys to know. Number one is that, you know, Michael is a workaholic in a good way, in a good way. And because he's a workaholic, sometimes it can be misconstrued for not caring because he's so laser focused. And I've been a victim of that. You're so laser focused that things that are happening around you sometimes you don't see. And so don't make a mistake to misconstrue that for not caring. So it's always important that you reach out. Second thing is that what? Sometimes you get too close to him, and then guess what? You lost the value that he has, his brain. You lost what is up here. Treat him as a friend and everything, but do not make a mistake. Always be listening when he talks because of what is up here, right? He's a master of the business. He's a master of the business. You guys should know that. And again, sometimes when you work with people too closely, you missed it, right? Never miss that. And I'm here today for us to have some fun. I look at certain things. You guys know I'm a master of looking at numbers. That's my favorite things that I do. I look at numbers, and sometimes I say numbers don't lie. They say, what do you mean this and that? It's 100% a pure reflection of what you do behind the scene. It's the numbers. It's the numbers. And so I look at the numbers in my quest of doing something else, and I say, oh my goodness, right? The entire team, heroes, need to be on a run. And some of you are new. I call you guys Zoom babies. You have no idea what a run is. But we're going to bring back that fire of what a run is today. We're going to look at what is a run. A run just means your time to go to your next level, period. A run just means it's your time to go to the next level. And we're going to look at that in all details today on what it takes to do a run and stuff like that. GFI just launched the best CRM system, in my opinion, right? A true agent and client management system that we've seen a couple of them, and no one comes near to what we have right now. We just crossed 76,000 business partners in GFI. I saw that text came in yesterday in the morning, right? We have this morning text every morning. You have a report of what's going. And I was just holding my head thinking, when did we start to crossing 76,000 licensed agents? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, if you're like me, you're always like, how many of those agents are on my code number? Because that's always the case, right? You can't be on a winning team and you're not winning. You got to be very, very careful, right? The whole company is winning and you're not winning. You become insignificant. No, you've got to be significant. As a matter of fact, you look at those numbers and you make a commitment. You say, before we hit 100,000, X amount of those numbers are going to be on my team. We're going to have that conversation. We're going to have that conversation today. If guys, as we're talking about a run and all of that, I want you guys to know truly, truly that job insecurity has taken the forefront in the U.S. economy today. So the word job, secure job, no longer exists. It exists no more. Number two, with AI integration, it just makes it worse. It just makes it worse. More and more people are losing their jobs from AI. More and more people are losing their jobs because of insecurity, right? I don't know what city you live in, but you must have seen this driverless car, right? They call some Waymo, they have all kinds of names. I want you to think, 5.8 million truck drivers on the road are about to have no jobs. Why? The driverless cars, they just celebrated 10 billion miles. Did you hear me? 10 billion miles with 0.0001 of incident. Is that crazy or what? Right? How many humans cause accident? Right? So which means that what? Everybody who is trying to drive a manual car sooner or later is going to be paying like 10 times in car insurance. And do you know what we mean in the industry though? Right? Hey, there's a lot coming, which therefore means that what? Entrepreneurship becomes the golden egg. Entrepreneurship now is the golden egg. And we're blessed to be here. Not only blessed to be entrepreneurs, but double blessed that they can be successful in anything else. They're going to need financial education. Are you guys seeing where we're heading, guys? I don't know, I say this and I have chills. You should be counting yourself 5 times blessed that you're not only an entrepreneur, you are placed in the best entrepreneurship, because whether you're successful in AI or whatever that it is, you're going to need financial education. And we are the ones who are going to provide that education. So strap your seatbelt, because the turbulence of financial freedom is going to be so fast you can't even hold it, right? You can't even hold it. Great to come talk to you guys. If you're hearing from me for the first time or we haven't met before, my name is Levi, and it dawned on me 15 years ago when I had gone to go see one of my patients. I'm a nurse by profession. I narrowed it to being a hospice nurse. I do hospice at home, hospice in facilities. I went to go see one of my patients in the freezing weather in Maryland in February. I mean, it's freezing. You can barely stick your nose outside. And my client said, I want to go outside. Huh? What do you mean you want to go outside? I said, Levi, I need to go outside. I need to go to the back porch. And he insisted, like there was no effort for me to stop. And these guys in their dying moment, whatever they want, you give it to them. Because what else are you going to give to them? What else? I want to go outside. Of course, I have to grab some blankets, and he wobble his way. I'm even afraid he's going to stumble over, just to make sure that he doesn't get frostbite. And next thing I see, this guy is bawling his eyes out. If he sneezes, blood is coming all over the place. And I'm wondering, is this guy afraid of death? So 58-year-old guys. And I had the courage to ask him, sir, are you afraid of death? And he said, no. So what's the point? This guy said, Levi, I don't know about you, but I started late. I had my first child at age 45. My baby girl is 13 years old, and I have no idea what's going to happen to my child when I pass on, because I don't have a penny left on my name. I don't have a penny left on my name. So as a matter of fact, the house is on foreclosure because the mom stopped working 3 months ago to take care of me because we could not afford private care. That is one of many scenarios across the board in the United States, folks. I hear stories like that over and over and over. There are people that did not want to die because they did not know what's going to happen to them, and they will die. The family could not afford for cheapest cremation back then was $2,000. They could not afford. I became a frequent flyer to call the board of anatomy to come pick these bodies because the family just could not afford. Montgomery County, where I work for, they had a funeral funds, and those funeral funds were $800, per family. But guess what? They run out of those funds in April. They're out. So what about the people that will die from May all the way to December? Right? These stories are real, guys. And so you're blessed with a unique opportunity where you can change that. You can change that not only for your family, you can change that for a bunch of families. Don't take the opportunity lightly. What you're doing here is going to go beyond your age, beyond your life. I want you guys to know that. And so being a hospice nurse was a nightmare on other aspects. But guess what? It was relieving to me as well that I start seeing myself through these patients. I start seeing myself through them. Because why do I think that I'm unique? I'm not. And so if nothing changes, I'll see myself through them. But then, blessed that on the other side of the spectrum, I was a nurse manager, weekend manager position on a very, very upscale assisted living where I saw people paying a ton of money to live in these facilities. Now, if you don't know what an assisted living is, it's a retirement facility for senior individuals, upscale, pay a ton of money to live in these places. And if you're like me, curiosity raised and you start asking, how can you afford for this? And in asking that, guys, I see that the gap between those that were struggling and those that were blessed economically, that gap was that of financial education. And I want you to write it down, financial education. Even though you're my business partners, you're my colleagues, write it down, financial education. And on a scale of 1 to 7, ask yourself how knowledgeable you are when it comes to financial education. If that word was thrown on your desk and say financial education on a scale to 1 to 7, how knowledgeable are you? 1 meaning that you're as confused, and 7, which we cannot have 7, maybe 6.5, 6.8, because there's always room for improvement. Ask yourself, how good are you? Because that's where the challenge is. And so if you can up your skill in what it means by financial education, everything is going to change. As we declare the run of all of your organization today, I want you to look at where you are. And say, what is my next? If I look at milestone, cash flow milestone, we're going to do this run in 3 or 4 waves. And these waves do not mean that someone is better than other. It's just for what they've done, right? I asked Michael, can you give me access? He didn't even know what I was looking. Michael, can you give me access? I want to look at production. I want to look at recruiting numbers. I want to look at everything. And if you know me, some of those numbers, I was going to throw up on some of them. Truly. Why? Because numbers don't lie. You can be as cute, you can be as handsome. But if you don't put numbers, guys, you're not doing what you obtain a license to do. You obtain that license, it's an oath. It's an oath of ethics that you took that you're going to go protect these families. If your numbers is not a reflection, what are you doing? You want to turn in your license? I was a nurse. We took an oath of ethics that we're going to treat these patients with all dignity, irrespective of how or what they're going through. That's why even if they poop, it doesn't stink. The patient's poop doesn't stink. We never wore any mask taking care of them. ever, irrespective of, you got a license that you're going to go protect these people. It's your responsibility to knock that door. It's your responsibility to bang that phone. It's your responsibility to make sure that anyone that is in your phone contact is protected. What are you doing with that, with that license? What are you doing with that license? Yet there are still people in your phone that have no protection. Then when they die, they go fund me. Is that what you want? Someone in your phone is going go fund me. Guys, it's unacceptable. The money is a byproduct. I'm going to tell you guys, the money doesn't define us. Money, it's a byproduct. You guys know that. You guys know that if money was going to define us, I will not be talking to anybody today because our family had been extremely blessed. We were making $750,000 a month when we walk away to start GFI because the money has got absolutely nothing to do with the people that need protection. You got a license, guys. It's a responsibility, and I want you to assume that responsibility moving forward today, that I am going to go protect people even if you were not going to get paid. The good news is that you get paid ridiculously anyway. So what are you doing with that license? What are you doing with that license? Guys, people are hurting. I need you to look into the eyes of a single mom who has lost their husband and tell me what you're going to tell those kids. They lost hope in a minute. We show up at the funeral while everybody shows up with a bouquet of flowers from Walmart for $20. We show up with $1 million check in our pocket. That is a responsibility you can never waive. That's a responsibility you can never turn your back on. Somebody is sick in the hospital, they've just been diagnosed with cancer. We are the ones that are fighting because we're filing a claim that they should have living benefit. I have a young lady in Houston, a single mom with 2 kids, who had no idea she had a heart defect. No idea. She was running around like anyone else. All of a sudden, she started experiencing this shortness of breath. Say, why don't you go check? Oh, no, coach, it's nothing. No, it's the second time I hear you breathing like that. You need to go check. Behold, boom, she has a heart defect. She had a heart defect. Because she had training. Listen to this, guys. Listen to this. Her training associate, who did not even know what was doing, through internal consumption, helped her set up a $250,000 policy. And that young lady just got a $207,000 check from that 250. What if it was $1 million? And she cried for 2 days about that 207,000. Because she can now guarantee that she can keep a roof over her children's head. Because with that heart defect, she cannot even do 3 stairs. She's now living in her living room. She can't do any stairs. She cannot. What if that training associate didn't sell that 250? She would already have filed bankruptcy right now. What we do here is priceless. And today, I want us to say it's the time for us to go to the next level. Team Heroes deserve to go to the next level. Michael gave it all as well with me when we came here. Not only he gave it all, he had a lawsuit on his tail with Rochelle that they didn't deserve that lawsuit. They did not. Just because they stood for the right thing. Just because they say, we buy into this idea that people need to have ownership. Just in case. Hey, guys, listen to me. I sit on the board of GFI. Just in case you have a stain of a doubt on your mind, the pop is not only real, it's too real. It's too real. Listen to me very well. When we met in San Jose, California, with Bob Wiener, who is the chief legal counsel for GFI, and the 10 of his guys, the 11 legal staff on GFI. Listen to this very well. Listen to this. Bob Wiener has no interest in GFI Pop. He's a chief legal counsel, so he's paid to protect GFI at the legal standpoint. So they were the one who designed all of this. When I took the manuscript, I have it. When I took the manuscript, listen to me, folks. I don't know if anybody's talked to you guys about it. I don't think even Michael knows this. When I took the manuscript of the pop and I sent it to our family lawyers to check, listen to this. The first thing he said, Levi, what is this? 2 days after, what is this? I said, I just want you to check of the legality of this. He said, who designed this? And I said, what are you talking about? Just check. It says, Levi, listen to this. Listen to his choice of what? This is the best golden handcuff I have ever seen in my 32 years of practice. I hope you guys know. It said, this is the best golden handcuff, meaning a relationship that is going to be the best at fruition at the end. And since then, he's been asking me if he could be part of POP. Of course, you guys know me, I'm going to recruit him. I'm not joking. And I say, yes, sign here. And he did. He did. Listen to me, guys. The POP is so real. An independent review guy is now in GFI because he read the POP. 50 years of the recruit and build model. Over 2,000 IMOs. No one has done what POP GFI has done in the POP. And all you need to do is contribute your share. Now, this is not what Michael wanted me to talk about, but listen, guys, I'm giving you guys hope. As CTO, listen very well. Alok Shigeni has been 25 years building tech platforms for financial institutions. He built it for JP Morgan. He did it for, Golden. Listen very well. He built that which Ethos used to go public January 29. And you guys know 6 months just passed and Ethos stocks have settled. You guys need to listen to that interview for the CEO, Peter Collins. And this guy, Alok, recently just said, I'm tired of building this tech platform and these companies are taking and making billions of dollars. I'm going to build mine that now I'm going to now lease. Just like most companies are leasing. You guys know most companies are practice companies renting TKT, right? Which is nothing compared to what we have. He was going to go build his when GFI say, hey, we are building GFI technologies. Why don't you come here and build it with us? And if you build it with us, we're going to allow you to participate as a partner in the inner circle, not as a senior partner, in the inner circle. He took the same document, showed his lawyers, and he said, why would I go out there be lobbying for money to build a tech platform to rent when I can build something and participate in the upside? He dropped all of that and he came full-time in GFI. That's how big it is. And so, in the course of doing an evaluation, we said, hey, we want something to be 30x. He said, listen to me. Where GFI technology is, it has passed where, listen again, it's past where Ethos was at the same time in building. We've already passed. And so you guys talking about 30x, you are underestimating. What is the biggest you've ever done, Alok? It says 77x. It's built a tech platform that is sold for 77x. So when we're talking about 30x, we're just underestimating, which means that if you make $1 million with us here, you're going home with 30 million at a lower case. Are you kidding me? That is the upside potential that you have here with our POP program. That is the upside potential that you have, right? And you guys know different companies come here. Oh, we have ownership. Experienced under investigation now for claiming they have ownership. Did you guys know that? Do you know how many times they've reported GFI for ownership and they've come and the regulators have come and walk away? Nobody's sharing this information with you guys. I'm the executive chairman of GFI. I'm sharing you. I'm telling you what is going on behind the scene. They say we're claiming and regulators have come in multiple times and walk away. Why? Because it's real, it's written. I have a 100-page document. It's written, it's clear, it's fact. And whether Eric Olsen lives or he dies, is already into force in law. I wanted to tell you guys what Winner said. They came and they put up all those documents. Listen to this, Frank. And he said, Eric, you still have the chance today to say you change your mind, you walk away, and nobody's going to hold you accountable, nothing. But after today, you cannot change your mind anymore, because after these people sign it today, you cannot change your mind anymore. We were sitting at that clubhouse in San Jose at the golf course. I could remember like yesterday. Papa Cab was there. Eric Austin himself was there. I was there. Mario was there. Matthew Welsh was there. And Maddie Schaefer. And Eric paused for a minute. And you guys know he usually is not emotional. And I see him emotional because that meant a lot to him. That is what he left $1 million a month. As a matter of fact, he left $1.2 million a month for that, to make sure that anyone that trusts and believes in him was going to end up and their families for generations never make. So the pop is so real. My question is, how fast do you want to get into the pop? How fast? How fast? Remember, all you need is $250,000 to sign the inner circle. And the inner circle said no decision in GFI will ever be made without you participating. Listen to me again. You just making $250,000, Mr. Nestle, so forth. You make $250,000, brother. You are in the inner circle. GFI could not have any financial transaction without you participating. That's how big it is. You raise it a little bit to get $1 million. Then guess what? GFI creates a company. Some of you don't know. It's not GFI. The legal counsel are going to create a company on your name. And it's going to be GFI, whatever name that you have, LLC. It's going to be a Delaware corporation. It's the law now, guys. Don't let this opportunity pass you by and you're looking. Are you guys with me? Good. Michael, I know that's not what you want me to talk about, but I get so passionate sometimes when people don't get it. They don't get it. Not only that, GFI has created a hybrid model so you can accelerate the process. You can do leads, you can do inspiration, you can do advanced planning. And your leader is good at all three. How blessed are you guys? Do you know how much I beg Michael to come and train my team how to do leads? Do you know how much I beg him? He is the advanced planning guy as well. Take advantage of his Merrill Lynch experience, guys. All right. Let's run. Let's make a run so we can all get our pop. Is that a deal? Is that a fair thing to ask? Good. You know, I'm looking here with all my good friends here. My goodness, I didn't even know you guys were here. Isaac Estrada. Good to see you, brother. Right? These guys, I don't know you guys know, you know, Santos and Carolina. These guys helped shape my business at the Pinnacle office. Some of you don't know that, right? Our businesses were all in person, right? Florio and Lorelei. These people were those handling the stage. You know, I learned from a distance from all these people in San Jose, California, right? Because you needed to have an in-person office. You need to have an in-person office. And, you know, I just learned today Wendy is my neighbor. I didn't even know that yesterday. I heard Wendy is my neighbor. I said, what? I know she's our biggest event planner. I just think she's an event planner. I see her handling all our events. I didn't even know where you live, Wendy. It's just a blessing to know you're in my neighborhood, right? But guys, we're going to do our runs in 4 waves today. 4 waves. Waves number 1 is those who are running for $500,000 ring. Now, listen to this. Eddie used to make this run, and I'm sitting here and I'm bubbling like, you know how they said, these are the next CEO. I'm there as a marketing director. I haven't even hit SMD. And they said, next CEO, I need to be a CEO. And my butt is burning, right? We can say, hey, next $500,000 ring, and you don't even have a 50,000 watch, and you go home and say, you know what? I'm going to be next in that $500,000 ring. It's all decision. It all boils down with a decision. So the first thing that you're going to make that is going to transform you in your run, number 1, is you need to make a decision that you're going to run. Make a decision. That decision means, you know, I am putting everything aside. I want to run. That's what decision is. I want to run. So you make a decision. The stronger the decision, the higher the chances you're going to be successful. The stronger the decision, the higher the chances that you're going to hit. So you make a decision. You make a decision. And looking at the numbers, I picked 2. I picked 2 people. I picked Ken Keynes, right? And I pick Florio and Lorelei. Now, you may be sitting there. RJ Pimentel may say, what the heck? I am in that line. Right? I'll take it. But the reason why I say that is that I just look at where their current cash flow is. And I said, by the way, congratulations, Florio, on your third diamond. That is a big deal. I just said, hey, if you guys choose to wear your running shoe, when is the period of running? It's the next 90 days. GFI, the year ends October 31st, just in case you didn't know. Because at 12/12, you guys know we pick 12/12, right, as our annual anniversary, right? 12/12 is biblically is perfect governance. So we pick it as a, as a term where we share the second profit for the year, right? Like Lorelei mentioned, we just did the first profit sharing in Coeur d'Alene. People were living there with big checks, right? Where second sharing is in December. You want to go there. How you go there? We're picking a number of top performers to go there beside the $1 million base shops, right? We're picking top performers to go there and we're sharing profit. So you're going to go in and look at your numbers from November 1st of 2025 all the way to today, because you have this next 90 days. As a matter of fact, today is the 8th, so we're like 90 days minus, 8 days already. You only have 82 days to run for this run. You have 82 days. You run all the way through the finish line October 31st. And it's the perfect time to run because you're closing the year. It's the perfect time because the number of months are acceptable to run. 90 days is the perfect period to run. All right? So those two, we're declaring you have $1 million run. We're declaring you have $1 million run. We're going to look at what it takes. We're going to look at what it takes. I have a couple of people that are called Wave 2. Wave 2, those who, have a $250,000 ring. This $250,000 is because we're going back to New York in December for the next signing. When you hit your $250,000, we hit your $500,000, we're going to New York. That's where we sign your inner circle participation. So $250,000 run, right? Bryce and Lauren, because your cash flow is that close, right? RJ Pimentel, you're that close. Santos and Caroline, you're that close. Todd O'Brien, even though he's in the base shop, right? Listen, let me tell you, it's off the bat. I'm looking through the numbers. Your $250,000 ring is this close. It's closer than you think. It's closer than you think. As we look through what it takes to accomplish that run, you're now going to see how close you are. You're Wave 2. You can challenge Wave 1 if you choose, which I love that, but you're in Wave 2. Go hit your $250,000 ring. We want to be with you side by side in New York to sign your inner circle, right? And those of you in Wave 1, hey, go be a 1%er. Go make your $500,000 ring. Wave 3, my neighbor, Wendy, Isaac, Luis Charisma, Jerry Roman. I hear Mark Ruben, I look at your number. Where's Mark? You're a recruiter, man. Where's Mark? Is he here? He's a recruiting machine. I love it, brother. I love it. Thank you for giving hope to those people. All we need to do is now work on what do we do with our internal consumption and how do we move these people. You guys hear me? I see your numbers. I see your future in the business. Recruiting is your future, guys. Recruiting your future. If I were you guys, I'll be calling Mark every day, twice over the weekend. What are you doing bringing all this volume? Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. I encourage you guys to get good at recruiting. We're going to talk about that in a bit here. Get good at that. You guys, listen. Make a decision. You know what? I'm going to go get my 250. But let me start with level 1. You need a diamond in your ring. You need that ring. You need it. You deserve it though. You need it. Make that decision. Make that decision. Now, you could have been recruited yesterday because with the run, everyone is running. You could have been recruited yesterday and you're making yourself available for this run. Too many people have made themselves available for the run and they have tremendous results just because they make that decision. So now, you make a decision. That's the first thing that I said you do. you make a decision. Number 2, set a goal for your run. What exactly do you want to accomplish for that run? What exactly do you want to accomplish? Be crystal clear. There is no this or that. You want to hit your EMD? I love to see cash flow. Let me tell you why. Cash flow is an indicator. It's a sensitive indicator. Cash flow is a sensitive indicator of the work you do behind the scene. So it's like a thermostat. The temperature in the room is going to change by you regulating the thermostat. And so cash flow is the thermostat of everything that you're going to do in your business. And if that thermostat is not tuned, the temperature is not changing. The thermostat needs to be tuned for the temperature to change. Your cash flow needs to move for everything else needs for it to move. Are you guys getting me? The cash flow is an indicator of what you're doing behind the scenes. So whatever you're going to do, I need to see a reflection of your cash flow. So be cash flow oriented. I want you to be cash flow driven as we run these 90 days. Be cash flow driven. So you need to make a clear declaration of the cash flow you're going to hit. You need to make a clear declaration of the cash flow you're going to hit. You need that milestone be very clear. And the third thing is that what? We need an execution plan on how to hit that milestone. Once you make a decision that you want to run, and if you don't want to run, we're not going to love you less. We're going to love you the same. But if the whole hierarchy is running, I think it's time for you to run. Because when we run as an organization, we all win. Right? That's why team means together everyone achieve more. Team says together everyone achieve more. So we're going to run as a team. Does that make sense? Make that declaration. And one of the things we're going to do here today is that we're going to develop a written plan. We're going to develop a written plan which I call the execution plan for your run. We're going to do an execution plan for your run. We're going to do an execution plan for your run. And everyone should be running, which means that what? Licensed and non-licensed people are going to be participating in this run. Licensed and non-licensed people are going to be participating, right? Non-licensed people, this is the time that you put a 100 list. This is the time that you say, you know what? I need to push my upline. I need to do this because when it comes to my turn, I'm going to be running. Those of you who are in the base, whether you're in the mini base or you have a base shop, you should be thinking, you know what? My best contribution here is make sure that, my upline hit their next milestone because next is going to be your turn. That's what it is. That's what it is. And so this is your call. This is your call. How are we going to do that? Let's look at what your execution plan is going to look like. Let's look at the execution plan. Number one in that execution plan is that we need to increase activities. We need to increase activities. We need to increase activities. Formula that I call it, my performance formula. The performance formula. Write it down. 115. 115. You choose where you want to belong. If you're 80 percenter, 115. 115, meaning that you every day, no matter what, every day, no matter what, you're gonna do one presentation, one client presentation. No matter what, you're gonna do one client presentation. No matter what, you're gonna get one new prospect number. And you're going to make 5 active calls. If you're 80 percenter, that's your performance formula. I'm going to take it again. 115. I'm going to do one client presentation no matter what. Come sun, come rain, I'm going to do one client presentation. I'm going to expose my business to someone. Number 2, no matter what, whether I'm staying home or I'm going out, I need to get a minimum. I need to get one new phone number. Meaning that what? I need one prospect. You say, Levi, if I stay home, how am I going to get a prospect? Of course, call someone and tell them that you're expanding in their state. You need someone to share your business with, and they're going to give you a phone number. Getting a phone number, gone are the days you have to be out in the mall because you can use relationship. Call someone in your phone in the state you haven't expanded with. I said, I need to expand in your state. I need someone there to show my business. So they're going to give you a phone number. But it has to be part of your permanent business plan that in the next 90 days, I need to show my business to someone. You make calls and you didn't get them. You drive to them. Do a drop by. You will not go to sleep without not doing one client presentation. And you're going to make 5 active calls. What are active calls? Active calls, Leslie, means you talk to somebody, brother. It means you spoke to someone. That's what active calls is. It's not voicemails. I need you to talk to someone in an effort to set an appointment, in an effort that they should take a look at your business. 5 calls. 5. That I can consider to be a performance plan for your 80%. If you choose your 80%, that's where you go with. Michael is not saying so. I am not saying so. You choose where you fall because it is your activities that choose where you fall. Now, if you're a 20%, if you're a 20%, 20%, for your 20%, it's called 3315. 3315 is for the 20%ers. If you're a 20%, you're going to run 3 appointments a day, meaning that you're going to show your business to 3 people a day. You're going to get 3 new phone contacts a day, and you're going to make 15 calls. You're going to make 15 calls. If you're a 20%, the next 90 days, that's what you're going to do. 3, 3, 15. The way we know at the end of this run, whether you were 80% or you were a 20%, it's your calendar. We're going to see those activities. We're going to see those activities because you're going to keep a tracker. You're going to keep a daily tracker. You're going to keep a daily tracker of this, right? And starting from today is the 8th, you're going to write starting. It's all right. Those of you who are immediate massive action takers like me, start right after this call. You're going to start today, and you're going to write it from today all the way to October 31st. You are on a run. You are on a run. You're going to write it. 3 appointments, no matter what. So you're not just saying, I did 3. No, you're writing the date. You're writing the 3 names of the people that you showed your business to. You're writing the 3 new phone numbers that you collected. And you're writing the name of the 15 people that you call. It's called your daily tracker. It's called your daily tracker. You are on a run. You are on the run. And the last but not the least is called the elite performance. Elite performance. You want to be an elite performance? Elite performance is called 5525. An elite performer is 5525. 5525. I'm going to run 5 appointments a day. I'm going to get 5 new phone numbers a day. I'm going to make 25 calls no matter what. How do you do that? It's called factorization. It's called factorization. You're going to factor this on your calendar, and we're going to talk about how you break that down. It's called, you want to be on a run? This is a run. This is a run. You choose where you want to belong. I want to make sure you know that, as I promised you from the beginning, we're not going to love you less. You just need to choose where you belong. If you choose an 80%, we love you the same. But that's your performer for the next 90 days. If you choose to be a 20%, it's you choose. If you choose an elite performer, you choose. But stick with the category that you choose. Stick with that category. And if you fall off the cliff to 80%. And I don't think that when we're celebrating, you want to be in the 80% group, because we will celebrate. We will celebrate you guys at the end of this run. It's going to be a big, big, big celebration. We're going to have our 80%ers on this side. We're going to have our 20% on this side. And we're going to have a 1 elite performers on this side. You choose which side you want to be. We are not going to choose for you. You choose the side of the room that you want to be. Now, my question to you is, do you want to get the same reward that the elite performers are going to get? Yeah. And being an 80%, I don't think you yourself, you will take it. But you choose, because we are on a run. You choose. Again, 3 categories that you choose as performance expectation, right? That performer expectation is what? 115 is the 80%. 33, 15 is a 20%. 55, 25 is a elite performance. And any category that you pick, it's gonna reflect at the end of this run in your cash flow. I promise you. I've done more runs than any one of you. I promise you. I've done more runs for Eric Olson than any one of you. Whenever he declares a run, I choose that I'm going to be the highest contributor. And guess what? Boom! Good news is that what? The money goes to my bank account. It doesn't go into his bank account. So as we're declaring Team Heroes run here, the money goes into your bank account. You are the one who is going to be celebrated. We're going to celebrate you for work that you've done for yourself, right? This is separation season, folks. This is separation season. A lot of you who will go on this run, you're going to be jubilating with us in New York, shining your inner circle, right? We're going to be celebrating you guys over there for the run, right? Now, how can you do this? We're going to do a madwoman 90-day cycle. I know some of you heard about this, but you don't know exactly what it means. Madwoman 90-day cycle, which means that the next 90 days is going to be your peak performance period. To do that, we're going to divide your day into 3. We're going to divide your day into 3. 6 a.m. to 12 noon is day 1. 6 a.m. to 12 noon is day 1. And there's a couple of things. Again, where are we? We are in the execution. All of what we're doing now is your execution plan, right? Remember, you make the decision you want to run. Remember, you just stated exactly what you want to accomplish. And now we just categorize performance category, choose your category. And now we're going to now break your day into 3 to fit things in those days. 6 a.m. to 12 noon is day 1, which therefore means that what? You're going to be waking up at 5 a.m. now. I know some of you are going to say, oh, the doctor said I should sleep for 8 hours. Not during a run. Not during a run. There's time for sleep. When you go to the cemetery, you're going to sleep. Right? You go to the cemetery, you're going to sleep. This is work time. This is work time. You need to get up at 5 a.m. Get ready. 6 a.m. You are on the clock. You're going to run from 6 a.m. to 12 noon. We're going to talk about the details. 6 a.m. to 12 noon is what everyone else is doing for a whole 24 hours. That's what you do. 6 a.m. to 12 noon. What everyone else is going to be doing for their whole day, you're going to do it in 6 a.m. to 12 noon. Are we clear on that? So you're going to set alarm at 12 noon. And that alarm should be, congratulations, day 1 is done. That's what you label your alarm. So if that alarm goes off, look at it, congratulations, day 1 is done, it's gone. You're going to set the second alarm at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Where 6 p.m., if that alarm go off, you check your calendar, you say, day 2. We call it mini days. So your day 1 mini day is gone. Day 2 mini day is gone. And you set another alarm at midnight. At midnight, meaning that we're declaring you're going to be sleeping for 5 hours. Midnight to 5 a.m. every day. Midnight to 5 a.m. every day. The human body is the most adaptive machine I've ever seen in my life. It adapts to what you tune it to. I'm telling you. Do you know that when you fly from here to the West Coast, right day 2, you start having breakfast at 8 a.m.? Do you know 8 a.m. is 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time? How come you're having breakfast at 8 a.m. and it's normal? When was the last time you had breakfast? Because your body adapts like this. You go to Hawaii, before you know it, you're still having breakfast at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. is 2 a.m. your time over here. How come? Because the human body is the most adaptive in any situation that you put it to. You need to make sure that it adapts to this run. Are you guys getting me? I hope you guys are getting me. Stop telling yourself, oh, I've always done it this way. No, your body adapts to what you put it through. Once you say, hey, it has changed, the body adapts immediately. Immediately. So we're adapting. Year 3. Now, what do you need to accomplish in each day? Now is what we call an execution plan. There are 3 things every day that you need to do. Every day. Remember, day 1, you need to do what everyone else is doing. Everyone else is doing. You need to do it. So imagine that you just choose to be a 20%er. All you require is that from 6 a.m. to 12 noon, you do 1 appointment and get 1 phone number. You kidding me? Yeah. That's it. 12 noon to 6 p.m., you do it again. 6 p.m. to midnight, you do it again. You've done 3 presentations. It's insane. That's why I say if you do time compression, you can do all 3 in the morning. An appointment is only 30 minutes to 1 hour anyway. You're done. So, if you do that, you'll be doing what most people are doing in a whole day. You'll be doing what people are doing in 3 days. You'll be doing it in day 1, in 1 day. Why? You're on a run. You're on a run. People around you should know that something has changed. You're on a run. Now, the 3 areas you need to focus on as you do this run. Number one is the area of volume recruiting. You need to focus on volume recruiting. Volume recruiting. It predicts your future. Volume recruiting predicts your future. Volume recruiting predicts your future. It predicts your future. Volume recruiting. That volume recruiting starts with DDR, double digit recruiting. Double digit recruiting. Now, let's say you're not a Mac. You've never recruited anybody. Right? Let's say you've never recruited anybody. You're going to start. You're going to start. You're going to start. You build a muscle in the gym by going there consistently. You're going to start. You don't run to the gym today and come out and you have a six-pack of muscle. No. You're going to start today. You're going to start today. You're going to start. Maybe the whole this month you only do 3. Congratulations. You're way ahead from where you were yesterday. But we need to build that muscle until you get to 10. You absolutely need to do it. You need to build that muscle. So volume recruiting. Number 2 thing you need to be doing every day is licensing obsession. I want you to be obsessed with getting people licensed. Be so obsessed, you write it behind it, WIT, whatever it takes. Don't recruit these people and throw them against the wall to expect them to stick. You're going to be whatever it takes. I'm going to help these people that come to my organization get licensed. Why? Distribution outlets. Any licensed person is a distribution outlet in your organization. Any licensed person is a distribution outlet. The biggest recruiters and the biggest licensed folks always win. They always win. They always win. They always. When I learned that in 2018, guess what? Everything changed about my business. It took me 5 years, 6 years to finally get it. Right? I started this business March 2nd of 2013. It took me 5 years, 2018, to know what I'm telling you right now. And I said, really? And I went to it and everything else changed. Second thing is volume licensing. You should be obsessed. And when I say whatever it takes, it means that what? You want to go babysit someone for them to study, then do it. You want to go to Costco to do grocery for them, then do it. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. You want to create a daycare at home for these parents to study, whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. You should be obsessed with getting the people that come to your organization get licensed. You should be obsessed with that. And so every day, 6 a.m. to 12 noon, you should be asking yourself, how many recruiting presentations have I done? What have I done in my licensing? How many people have I talked to? How many people have I assist move a license chapter? How many people have I accept review license with them? I said, it's WIT, whatever it takes. License obsessed. And the last but not the least of the 3 things is what? It's called massive production. Be obsessed in helping the families in your community. Massive production. Production is a reflection of your obsession is helping people. Massive production. Massive production. How many families are you going to be helping a day? How many families are you going to be helping a week? You need to write the daily that rolls over into the weekly because you can course correct. You can course correct. Let's say that, hey, you wanted to help 3 families today and you missed, but you wanted to help 25 at the end of the month. You wanted to help 3 families today, 2 families today, but you missed, you want 7 at the end of the week. You should always, because your goal is to course correct, right? You guys know that when the pilot take that Boeing off the air, right, there is no direction. Or do you know how many times he has to course correct that nose? He has constantly tilting that nose. If a plane leaves San Francisco and is heading to Baltimore, you know, if he's not course correcting, he's going to end in La La Land, even if that nose just tilts by 1 degree off, of course. So every single time he's course correcting that nose, that's what you need to do in your business. You need to be course correcting, right? You didn't get 10 recruit, all right, course correct. Change the strategy, don't change the goal. Change the strategy, don't change the goal, right? And then you track your progress, guys. You track your progress. You track your progress. You track your progress. Give yourself an incentive at the end. You know that whether you're on an EMD or not, you could go to Hawaii, right? Do you know that whether you're on an EMD or not, you could go to a 12-12, right? So, you know, last year, I had 3 people from my team went to Hawaii for being top performers. 3. 3 people went. MDs in the Bay shop, they went to Hawaii for being top performers because the company takes 10 performers plus another 10 president pick. Do you know that if you perform so well in growing your organization on these 3, you can still be a president pick, because the president pick is not how cute you are. No, it's that they look at golf score performance. That's how they pick president pick. That even though your numbers did not show, but look at how many people you recruited. Even though your cash flow did not hit a certain milestone, look at how much people you got licensed. Even though you did do this, look at how many families you get protected. Did you get it? That's how they pick president pick. And then they pick performance based on your production. So if you do that, you're rewarding yourself. How about you reward your family with a Hawaii trip? We're going to Maui. Catherine just came back. You guys know we have a top, excellent event planner. She just came back from Maui. Said, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable what she said, right? Because we were worried with Maui burning down a couple of years ago. If they've rebuilt, he said, we're just fine, right? She's just done. Right now that we're speaking, she's right now in Las Vegas. She's looking at hotels for our next year 7/7 event. We're going to be doing a national convention, our first national convention in Las Vegas. She's there right now, right, looking at locations and all of that. Listen, she just came back from Hawaii and she said, we are going to have an amazing experience in Hawaii. How about you even stay in the base and you give yourself and your family a free? You guys know the good thing about Hawaii is that what? Is that you go there at your favorite price. You guys know your favorite price? For free. For free, right? If you declare this run, guys, and you run with us, I promise you, you give yourself a Hawaii, free vacation. You walk through the 12/12 event in Napa Valley with us because you perform. Hey, listen, I'm not usually the guy that says, hey, put anything in the chat, but because I know that we're declaring a run today, if you feel that you want to declare this run, please do me a favor, go in the chat and put run. I need to see all these people. There you go. Isaac put it right there, right? We have some Olympics in the room. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. Put it there, run. I need to see the word run. Wendy says, yes, we run. Man, I love you, Frank. She put it in uppercase, right? Lorelai say, half K, here we come. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, guys, when you declare, you're telling God that, you know what? I want you to remove the old me and give me the new me. That's all you're asking God. Give me the new me. The me that have no excuses. The me that says, you know what? I need to step into the best version that you created me. This is the next 90 days I'm going to step. Guys, listen. You guys know the devil is nobody but just a discourager. All they do is discourage. Kick them out. I promise you, kick them out. Because some of you call the devil and the devil himself. Listen to me as I round up here. Listen, every one of us, including the devil, report to God. Sometimes the devil goes back to God and says, God, that one is not me. I know they hate my name, but that is not me. You know why? Because, they prayed, you gave them the opportunity and let them have the opportunity. They prayed and let them have the license. If they're not doing anything, God, that one is not me. The devil has himself remove his hands that your performance is not me, it's you. It's you. So, hey, let's go. This is what I call the run. We want to celebrate you next 90 days. I hope I brought some value to you guys this morning. Michael, Rochelle, I love you guys so much. I want us to win. It's our time to go to the next level. We want to celebrate you guys. I want all the ladies to wear their 18-inch shoe while we celebrate you guys, October 31st for doing a successful run. I want the guys to be in that tuxedo and say, you know what? Last 90 days are grand. Let the people say what is happening with him. Let your neighbor say what is wrong with him. What is wrong with her? Let your spouse say, hello, honey, are you okay? Right? Yeah, I am on a run. Boom. Michael, take it over. Thank you, guys.
Michael, your microphone is not working, but I can lip read after this point. And guys, he said, wow, wow, wow. Levi, that was incredibly awesome. Like you always bring the fire. Like I don't know how you do it. I know Issa's a big part of that. Like keep prodding you. Like come on, Levi, let's go, let's go, let's run. So, I know a lot of our leaders. I know Florio and Lorelai like have like really big goals and they're super fired up for the run. So I want to hear from Florio and Lorelai like a couple of their takeaways from what you shared today, Levi.
Florio, I'll let you go.
Put him on the spot.
No, it's all good. No, always ready to talk. What's up, Levi? Oh man, so good. I think it's so powerful to hear from you. And you said something really powerful that is that with leadership and in our business is there's, you coming on the call today and being, a GFI cousin, right? Like you're a cousin of ours in business where we're not directly connected and the power behind us leveraging each other to carry and hear the message today of the run was so timely and we appreciate that because this team is destined for bigger and greater things and we've got this momentum and I think you just poured a whole like gallons and gallons of gasoline on us right now to go there and because we've got amazing leaders here this just needed that little extra push and you brought it today and so I'm just thankful for that because the power of our business is the overlapping relationships and people we have that allow us to grow and do amazing things. And again, like Lorelai said, we thank you so much for just pouring into us over the years, but especially in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, like that talk you had pushed us straight over our 300 and we'll publicly declare it in the next 90 days, we'll hit our 500,000. Right. So we've accepted that, we've pushed it. And it was because of getting around individuals like yourself who, again, don't have any direct connection to us, but believe in us and such that has really just driven us to do so much more. And so we're so super, super appreciative of that. So whatever we can ever do for you, that you can count on us as well. So Lorelai.
Yeah, no, I'm fired up. I have like pages and pages of notes and think about what Levi said. Volume recruiting, licensing obsession, and massive production. You can take all the notes, but Levi says, are you going to take massive action? And Florio and I, we were done taking all the notes and we wanted to take action and we have a lot more to do. Thank you for putting us even more on fire. We'll see you on 12/12. We will take heroes to the top and we will lead the way and whoever wants to follow, you can come along.
Bam, that's awesome. Like, I know we've got to keep moving and we've got to get on to our next trainer, but really quick, if anyone had any like popcorn they wanted to share with Levi or any takeaways, put them in the chat so he can see those as we're moving on to our next presenter. Levi, once again, thank you so much. Like, you are just nonstop. Like, every time I see you, every time I talk to you, the way you're able to pour into people and the way you're constantly like that 1% better every day. I'm pretty sure you're getting like 10% better every day somehow. Like, I don't know, but congratulations to you and Issa and your team. And thank you so much for pouring into us today and taking the time with us today. And with that, as you're adding your comments to the chat for Levi, I'm going to turn it back over to my sister from another mister, Lorelai, to introduce our next speaker for today's training.
Yes, awesome. I think we could just drop the call, but we have just a couple more speakers just to give us some tactical, practical. So thank you, Levi, so much to you and Issa. Our next speaker has a background in retail sales, 14 years in the financial services industry. Who is it? There's only a couple more guys left. Developed already multiple six-figure earners and brokers in his time, and he's our direct EMD. We love him so much. Loyal to the soil. He, practice company. We were with him and his wife going to GFI. We're going with you. And I'm just so excited because Mr. Santos Ruano has seen our kids grow up from when we have pictures where they were little sitting on their laps to now Adama and Vincent are 13 and 16. And this is what GFI is about, growing as a family through the tough times, the good times, the celebrations. We've been on many runs, and we're excited to hear from Santos, who's going to talk to us about something important to this run about exchange principles. Santos, Florio and I and Adama and Vincent love you and Carolina so much, and we thank you for everything that you have done for us throughout the years. The floor is yours, Mr. Santos.
Thank you very much, Lorelai. The love and the respect and the appreciation is mutual, and it always brings me joy to see those pictures of your kids being so little and now seeing them grow. So we have some of those pictures in our refrigerator. We will see them every day. So that's so beautiful. But hasn't this been a great training already? Oh my God, after Levi, we can all leave and now go have a great business, right? Because he just shared amazing strategies and mindset that we can take, that we can apply and take our businesses to the next level. Now, my subject of today has to do with the foundation. So everybody, if you're doing something else, you have your camera off, I want you to please stop, because what I'm going to share with you is going to give you a great foundation for you to build a team. Caroline and I, we have been blessed with a great team that we have. All these champions, Florio and Lorelai, Bryce and Lauren, so many people that I could name here. I see Frank Bello here. I see Viviana. I see Maricela Gonzalez. I will name everybody because I will leave so many people out. But these are champions in our team, and we are proud of each one of them. But something that we have practiced is some exchange principles. I'm going to share my screen right away because we grew up with this mindset from the very beginning. Laura, can you see my screen, right? Excellent. All right. Let's talk about exchange principles. You see, exchange is different than just giving, right? Giving is one way. You just give, or somebody only gives to you. But when you exchange, you give something for something back to you. That's exchange. We're going to talk about that right now. And there's a few exchange principles in our business, and we're going to talk about a few of them today, but I want to get into it. And I invite you to joyfully embrace them. They are not enforced. You don't have to practice them if you don't want to. No one else will force you to do it. But from experience and from my knowledge, everything that I have accumulated in all these years, I encourage you to practice the exchange principles. So why? Because they contribute, why and how they contribute to your business. That's what we're going to get into it right now. Let's take a look at this. Now, how many of you, let me go back. How many of you are planning to recruit at least 10 people in your team or personally, let's say, in the next, 12 months or so, right? Let's say just 10 people direct to you. Now, I want you to think about this. If you gave me $1 bill and I gave you a $10 bill, who wins here? Who wins in this deal, in this trade? You give me 1 and I give you 10. Obviously you will, right? Because I'm only giving you 1. But let's bring that to the first exchange principle. And that is called the personal sale exchange. Personal sale exchange. Levi, if you listen to him, he mentioned internal consumption a few times during his training. What does that mean, internal consumption? Well, when you recruit somebody, do you want the person to move fast or you want the person to move slow? Fast, right? Time is our friend or time is our enemy, depending on how we use it in this business. So the personal exchange, the personal sale. What does that mean? Well, you see on onboarding 1, there's something called PFR, right? PFR, Personal Financial Review. So if we're gonna do this business and we're gonna tell people what to do with their money, how to handle their own finances, shouldn't we practice what we preach first? The Personal Financial Review is designed to put order in our own finances. So the person who recruited you or the person who's training you is going to do a personal financial review. It's going to find out if you have savings, debt, whatever you need, right? If you already have something in place for your retirement, if you have insurance, all of that stuff. That's the purpose of doing a financial review. Find out where you are financially before we go and tell other people what to do. That's called practicing what we preach. So, okay, now, while doing that, obviously, if there are some recommendations to be made to you, there will be some recommendations to be made. So you always want to, your personal sale should go to the person who recruited you. And if that person is not licensed yet, that sale is going to be shared between the person who recruited you, non-licensed yet, and the person who's training you, who is already licensed. So that's that. So you shouldn't. Some people ask me, like, Santos, can I buy my own policy? My response is, legally you can, morally you shouldn't. Why? Because let's go back to recruiting those 10 people that I just mentioned to you in the next 12 months or so. This is just an example, but you can go 20, 30, right? Do you want those people to wait until they're licensed and then buy their own policies? Or would you like them to move fast, see how this business is done, and get going into the business? We want that, right? We want them to move fast. If we put people to wait until they're licensed, appointed, and all of that, maybe about a month is going to go by. And by the time, and some people throw the towel along the way, so they may not even become a client, and they may not even pass the license, because some people just get bored along the way. However, if they engaged in the business, then they have a better chances of surviving. So personal sale exchange, that's the first one. It contributes to your business. It gives a good foundation. You can tell people, you can tell others to practice this principle, and because you did it. But if you don't practice it, you won't be feeling comfortable telling others to practice it. So that's a good one. So, and by the way, you know, when my wife and I became clients, you know how big her policy was? $50 a month. That's how broke we were. You know how big my IUL was? $175, because that was exactly what I was contributing to my 401k at my job. So I did a huge policy of $175, and Carolina did a huge policy of $50 a month. So obviously, I was not going to become rich by becoming my own client, right? So the person who recruited us made us a client. And that's totally fair, because from there on, everybody that we recruited personally, that person becomes our client. And I feel good about asking that person to do it because I practice it first. We practice that. That's what I was talking about. It creates speed and duplication. Speed and duplication. We don't want to put people to wait. Let's move on to the second one. The second one has to do with the appreciation of your trainer. It's called a field training exchange. How much do you appreciate your field trainer's time? If you were to pay that individual per hour, how much do you think that time will be worth? A lot, right? A lot. How much is his experience, her experience is worth? A lot. Well, guess what? Through field training, you're going to have their full attention, because we train as a group, but the real training comes in the field training. So what does that mean? When you start into the business, when you get into the business, you start setting up appointments. And by the way, going back to the first one, you only exchange your personal sale, your personal one. Your family, you're going to write up your family, your husband, your wife, your kids, your grandparents, your uncles, whoever, right? The immediate family, you're going to write them up. That's fair. When we were growing up in the previous company, we were not licensed. And as long as we were not licensed, every sale that was made in the field would go to the person who was training us. Now we improved it, and only the personal sale exchange is the one that you exchange. Then the rest of the family, you write it up. You write the sales. But then we have field training. While you're going through the field training, what are you supposed to achieve by going to field training? Well, number one, you're going to learn how to present. Number two, you're going to learn how to prepare recommendations, how to design illustrations, how to recommend, why recommending what is going to be recommending. Well, you're going to learn that from your field trainer, right? So how much value does that have? You're going to learn how to become a field trainer, how to become independent, how to become competent in what we do. All of that is achieved in the field training. Well, that is going to make you very valuable. It helps you become a true expert while getting trained from an experienced trainer. Imagine going to the field with, let's say, my good friend Isaac Estrada, RJ, Florio, Lorelai, right? Michael. Take any of the trainers. Take any of the field trainers. How much do they know and how much value will they bring to you by you getting personally trained by them? By the way, be smart when you're going through field training. Learn, pay attention, take notes. What questions do the trainers ask? How do they ask the question? What timings do they use? At which slide of the presentation do they ask specific questions? Pay attention to that. And when the recommendations are being prepared, remember we have a three-step sale: present, recommend, right? And in the recommendation we close, right? So pay attention to that and be engaged when the trainer is preparing the recommendations so that you learn how to do it. Ask questions. We took full advantage of that. We went to about 30 field training appointments, a little bit over that. We shared a lot of those, most of those sales that happened during those 30 field trainings. But guess what? That's why in 1 year, without having a huge market, and not the best market, in 1 year we became executive marketing directors, my wife and I. Why? Because we got so much training and we learned so much in the field that by the time we went independent, we felt extremely comfortable doing it. And we were not being hold from our hands anymore. We were totally independent, and we have been independent since then. You only go through field training once, you may as well take full advantage of it. But again, give something in exchange for something. Why? Throughout your field training, you're going to share those sales 50-50 with your field trainer. Yeah? I am a total believer in the exchange principles. Have you ever always helped somebody, just help that person, and that person eventually turning against you? Well, there was an unbalance in that relationship. You were only giving and not allowing that individual to give. So that created an imbalance. Have you ever heard of rich kids getting in trouble? Well, those kids usually only receive and they are not allowed to give. So that's why they get in trouble too. I'm not a huge scholar on the subject, but I will tell you from common sense, you have to allow the individual to do something so that we keep the relationship balanced, right? Well, field training is an exchange. What are you getting? What are you getting in exchange? The expertise from your field trainer, the experience, the knowledge, all of that. One-on-one learning when he or she is preparing those illustrations. That's what you get. All right, let's move on to the next one. But the field training exchange, it helps you become a true expert while getting trained from an experienced person. Acknowledge that value, and please let the trainer know how much value you're getting. But then you have the next one. This is a huge deal. The nobility exchange. What does that mean? Well, you see, we cannot go to the next level unless we help our team go to the next level. Isn't that beautiful? That doesn't happen in the corporate world, but here it does. The nobility exchange, it creates a team culture of collaboration and inspires your team to push you up when it's your level, when it's your next time, when it's your time. What does that mean? Okay, well, let's say that you are part of a bake shop. Your EMD needs to develop a few other people in order to go to the next level. And it needs to produce a certain amount of points in production in order to go to the next level, right? So, but nobody's taking any action. Meeting after meeting after meeting, and we all know what needs to be done, but nobody's saying, okay, I'm going to be the flag carrier for my leader and take ownership of this. So you gather, let's say you are in Florio's bake shop or in Isaac bake shop, I don't know, whoever. You see them trying to go to the next level and you say, hey, everybody, this is you first ask your leader what they need to go to the next level. What exactly do you need? And by when do you want to go there? So what amount of production, what amount of recruiting, and by when, what date, 1 month. All right, now that you have that clear, applying the nobility exchange has to do with this. You gather the team that you belong to and you say, hey, everybody, this is what our leader needs to go to the next level. I'm going to run with it. I'm going to take full ownership with it to help them with the most that I can. Who else is with me? And so you gather the team and you let them know exactly what needs to be done in order for you to push your leader up. And you know what's going to happen when you do that? Your team is going to see what you're doing, and they're going to want to do the same for you. That's the beauty of it. So that's what you do for your upline leaders, your team is going to do for you. And it doesn't have to be your EMD. Let's say that you're a senior associate and you need to go to your leader needs to go to marketing director. You can still apply that principle. Hey, everybody, our leader only needs 1 more license. I see all of you 5 are studying for your course. When are you going to take the license? Okay, let's go. You can do it. You can apply this principle throughout all the levels. Like Caroline and I, we're committed to be Michael and Rochelle's biggest leg and be the biggest contributor to the team. So we're going to do that. And we know that we have our team behind us to be able to apply the nobility exchange. This is a beautiful thing, and we're going to do it. So you can do the same. Make sure that you apply this. And again, it doesn't have to be only at the upper level. It can be at any level. Maybe you are you have an associate above you. You're an associate, and your upline is an associate. Needs to go to senior associate. Okay, what exactly does it mean? Oh, we need 1 more recruit. We need 1 more sale. Let's do it. You can be a senior associate and have a marketing director before you. What does he or she need to go to a marketing director? Okay, let's find out and gather your team and push your leader up. That is called the nobility exchange. And before, when we used to go to in-person field training, there was another one. It was my favorite. I didn't write this down, but it's called the meal exchange. You know, we used to invite our leader every time we go to a field training. The trainee will always take after the appointment, we'll take the leader to have a meal, maybe a little sandwich, maybe some coffee, whatever. But the trainee used to invite that. Nowadays, 90% or maybe more of the training happens in Zoom. But before it used to be in person, so we used to do that. We used to drive, pick up the trainer from his house or the office, take him to the field, have the appointment, go get something to eat, and then bring them back to where we picked them up from. That was an exchange too. Okay, the trainer had already paid the price. Now it was time for the trainee to pay the price. But now most of the time we don't have that anymore. But in case you do, take your field trainer to some coffee or something and learn from them, interview them, ask them questions, learn as much as you can while you're going through the field training. So that is what I had, Lorelai, when it comes to the exchange principles. The result is great team culture. And remember, what you reap is what you sow. What goes around comes around. And if you practice this, your team will practice the same. And you will have a great culture that moves, a team that moves fast, that applies these principles, that is fair, that is a balanced relationship, and nobody's only giving and nobody's only receiving. We are doing both. We're doing an exchange. So thank you very much for the time. I appreciate it. Let's have a great rest of the training day. Stay with us until the end because the best is at the end. So Lorelai, back to
Love
you.
it. Thank you, Santos. Yes, we have practiced all those principles, especially the food one. But I hope you're taking notes. So as we're going on this run, you can practice all those exchange principles. Thank you so much for adding value. Let's all take a quick stretch because I know we're like, hey, no big deal. We got a bonus from Levi. We were like, yeah, 30 minutes. No, he gave us his time, and his time is worth money. So champions stay till the end and even longer. You can log in your phone if you had to go, but all us champions are here. Let's get to last couple more speakers. Again, stretch, do some exercises here. Stretching is good. I'm going to bring up the last two speakers. This gentleman has a background in real estate and sports management. I don't know who that is. 15 years in the financial services industry, has helped thousands of clients and agents over the years, developed ring earners, brokers, and he's recognized as one of the top trainers in our company. And I know is the right-hand man of Michael and Rochelle. What I love about him is he has a very good GFI IQ and knows this business so well. So I'm going to pass it over to my dear friend, Mr. Isaac Estrada. Always love hearing from him. So passing the mic to you, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lorelai, and congratulations to you and Florio. That's amazing. You guys are doing awesome. And hey, hasn't everybody done such a great job? Let's give everybody such a big round of applause. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get started with my training. If you don't know who I am, like Lorelai mentioned, I'm Isaac Estrada. I'm an EMD. I've been here for a long time, and I've helped Michael and Rochelle back in 2014, and now here I am again. So we're doing it all over again. But I'm excited to share a little bit about recruiting and taprooting with you guys today. This is probably something that is not talked about too much, but hopefully after today, you're going to understand truly how to build an organization and build a company here with GFI. So let me pull up my training real quick. I'm excited about this. I shared it with Michael yesterday, and he said he was fired up to hear about it. So, and by the way, I'm just apologizing in advance if the PowerPoint doesn't come out amazing. But I love ChatGPT because nowadays I always tell Michael I have so much in my head, but I am not the best at PowerPoints. But now I could just talk to ChatGPT and put pictures in there, and all of a sudden it creates a beautiful presentation for me. But anyway, so turn to your neighbor and say, finish strong. We're building our business on a Saturday. Like Levi said, Separation Saturday. Type in a 1 in the chat if you're going to finish strong with us. But what I'm going to talk about today is recruiting and taprooting, right? So a couple little concepts, a couple little points about recruiting. If you are a good personal producer, it doesn't matter if you're good at products. It doesn't matter if you're good at selling. It doesn't matter if you're good at leaders or licensing. Man, my my Zoom is in the way of my presentation. I don't know how to move it. Anyways, all right, whatever. I'm just gonna go here. All right, because if you're not good at recruiting, you'll never build a lifetime passive income. And I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm not here to sell till I'm 90 years old. I want to help people. I want to build an organization, and I want to have a massive passive income. So if you are a good recruiter, guess what? It doesn't matter if you're not good at products. It doesn't matter if you're not good at sales. It doesn't matter if you're not good at leaders, because if you're good at recruiting, you will build a lifetime passive income. All right, next, what drives our business? So massive prospecting, like Levi talked about earlier, you want to be prospecting, prospecting, prospecting. And what's beautiful about our business is that we have so many tools now. We have PropHog, right? We have the leads. We also have inspirational marketing. We have advanced planning. So back in the day, we used to have to go to the mall. We used to have to go somewhere else and prospect people. But now, thanks to being on this team, we have PropHog. So make sure you're taking advantage of those phone zones every single morning to prospect licensed agents. Make sure you're taking advantage of the inspirational marketing and going to do your field training. So massive prospecting leads to massive recruiting, just like Levi said, leads to massive licensing. And another beautiful thing about PropHog is that if you are using PropHog and you're calling licensed agents, guess what? The person's already licensed when they come on board. So they can already start their field training. They can already get started. So that's a huge plus, a huge benefit. But also don't forget about inspirational marketing and recruiting non-licensed people. So you got to focus on massive licensing. Licensing leads to production, and production leads to cash flow, right? So Rita, recruiting is the answer, right? I want you guys to focus recruiting, recruiting, recruiting. But in order to get to recruiting, you got to do massive prospecting first. And that leads to massive recruiting. Massive recruiting leads to massive licensing. Massive licensing leads to massive production. And that will in turn lead to massive cash flow. Like Levi said, we should all be cash flow focused, but it all starts and ends with recruiting. All right, I'm going to teach you guys about the laws of building, right? So the laws of recruiting. The first one is a recruit is not a recruit until they have a recruit. What does that mean? So if you go out there and you say, hey, Isaac, hey, Florio, hey, Michael, I just got a recruit. Well, congratulations, that's a great job. But they're not a recruit technically until you get somebody on their team. Why is that? Because if they don't have anybody on their team, there's a much higher chance that they're going to quit, right? Because it's called FOMO, the fear of missing out. Would you leave a business if you had a team? Would you go somewhere if you had somebody on your team? No, right? You're not going anywhere. So a recruit is not a recruit until they have a recruit. So you should look at your entire team right now and see how many recruits you have, how many directs you have, or how many people on your team that you have, and see who does not have a person on their team, who does not have a business partner, and your number one goal should be to get them a recruit, right? Because the first law of building is a recruit is not a recruit till they have a recruit. So whenever I have a recruit on my team or someone tells me, hey, Isaac, I got a recruit, I say, great. Now the number one thing you need to do is go get them a recruit, right? So a recruit is not a recruit until they have a recruit. Next one, a leg is not a leg until it's 4 deep. Now I'm not talking about the leg that you have when you're standing here watching this presentation. I'm talking about when you have a business partner or a recruit, a direct. And by the way, a direct recruit is somebody you brought on board. And a recruit is somebody that they bring on board, right? But if you want to build a leg in this business, it's not a true leg until it's 4 deep. For example, let's say I come on board, Michael recruits me, that's 1. And then I go out there and I recruit Santos and Carolina, that's 2, right? Then Santos and Carolina go out there and recruit Florio and Lorelei, that's 3. And then guess what? Florio and Lorelei go out there and recruit Bryce and Lauren. Now that leg is a true leg. Do you guys get it? Because that leg is 4 deep. And guess what? It's not a coincidence that that's a very powerful leg, because that leg is 4 deep in EMDs, right? So the second law of building is a leg is not a leg until it's 4 deep. Next thing, always work from the bottom of the leg up. So for example, let's say I had that leg and, I recruit, Michael recruits me And instead of Michael having to say, hey, Isaac, go get your license. Hey, Isaac, go recruit 10 people. All he has to do is go work with Bryce, because Bryce is the bottom of the leg, right? So Michael's going to go work with Bryce and say, hey, Bryce, we need to go out there. You need to go get 10 recruits. You need to go get your license. And then what Michael's going to do, he's going to call Florian and Lorelei. He's going to be like, hey, guess what? Bryce and Lauren, they just got their license. They just turned in 50,000 points. Where are you at? And then Florian and Lorelei go like, oh shoot, we need to get going. We need to get going. And then Michael's going to call Santos and Carolina and be like, hey, Florian and Lorelei just got their third diamond. They're blowing up. Hey, where are you guys at? And then Santos and Carolina are going to be like, oh shoot, man, we need to get on it. We need to go get our next promotion, right? So instead of having to force somebody to do it, you kind of light a fire at the bottom of the rope. So imagine if all of us are on a rope, right? And then Michael lights a fire at the bottom of the rope. What do you think we're all going to do? We're all going to climb super fast to get to the top of that rope, right? So this is a building law. You always want to work from the bottom of the leg. And the beautiful part about that is that we all help each other. Like Santos just talked about, the nobility exchange. When you build a leg, all the points count for each other, right? So the points at the bottom of the leg count for the person on top, and count for the person on top of them, and count for the person on top of them. So what we do is called, we pull our team up and you push your leader up. So imagine getting you to your promotion, instead of you having to do anything, you guys do it together as a team, right? And that's how this works here, is that you all help each other in that leg. All the points help your leader to go to their next level. They help pull you up to their next level, and you guys all do it together. And unfortunately, my PowerPoint is blocked, so I can't see this, but I hope you guys understand this. If this is making sense, put a 1 in the chat, because this is how you actually build a true solid business in GFI. And it's going to make a lot more sense as I keep going, right? So another thing is activity begins at 10 recruits a month, right? So why is that important? Well, because 6 people are going to start licensing, or if you're using PropHog, even better, because guess what? Let's say you recruited 10 licensed people. That's 10 people that already have their license, right? But human nature says that not all 10 are going to do something. So let's say you recruit 10 people, 6 start licensing, 3 of those people actually get their license. If you already recruited licensed people, you can probably double those numbers. 3 of those licensed go do their 10 training appointments. That's 30 appointments. Remember, Levi was talking about how you should be doing 3 appointments a day if you want to be a 20%er, or 5 appointments a day if you want to be elite, right? Well, guess where those appointments are coming from? They're coming from field training, right? So if you have 3 licenses, or let's say you have 6 licenses that go do 10 appointments, 10 field training appointments, that's 30 to 60 appointments you'll have in 1 month, right? At a 30% closing ratio, if you have 30 appointments, that's 10 clients at 5,000 in premium. That's 50,000 points in 1 month on your team, right? You just did MD points in 1 month, right? So that's you going out there and getting 10 recruits, right? 6 start licensing, only 3 get licensed. 1 of them becomes a CFT. But if you run the system properly and you go take them on their 10 field training appointments, that's 30 appointments in 1 month, right? Just from 3 licensed people. You know, Levi was talking about Mark. I think Mark recruits like 10 licensed people a month. If Mark took those 10 licensed people on their 10 field training appointments, how many appointments is that? That's 100 appointments, right? That's 100 qualified appointments. So how would you guys like to hit MD in 1 month? Who would like to hit MD in 1 month? Well, go out there, recruit 10 people, take 3 of those people on their 10 field training appointments, have a horrible closing ratio of 30%, right? And you do 5,000 in premium per client, and here you go. You just hit MD in 1 month, right? So I want you guys to understand this business is about you and a team. We are a team business. It's about you and a bunch of people doing a little bit. It's not you doing everything, but the way you get there is through recruiting, right? And by the way, let's say it takes you a year to get 10 recruits. This is going to be your yearly production. That's why Michael is always pressing on recruiting. So you got to do whatever it takes, like Levi said. You got to go on a run. You got to make a decision. And quick little story, it is just about making a decision, right? If you're not doing 10 recruits a month, and if you're not where you're at, you probably just haven't made that decision yet, right? Because I remember back in the day, a long time ago, a long time ago, right? Back in the 2013s or whatever, 2012s, I was an MD, and I got my watch, and I was a good producer, right? But I could not recruit to save my life. And I remember Eric Olson would always have these big, they're called elite circles, right? Kind of like a small version of what we're doing now. And like Levi said, you have to make a decision. You have to declare it publicly. And I wasn't recruiting anybody. I was just producing. And I remember I made a decision. I made a decision that no matter what, I was going to recruit. I was going to recruit, or I was going to die trying, right? And I remember I had my huge team of Angelina Barron. I don't know if you guys all probably know who Angelina is. She's the operations queen. She used to be on my team, right? She helped me get to what we call EMD. And I remember I told Angelina, I said, I made a decision. We're gonna recruit no matter what. No matter what. I'm not even gonna talk to anybody about being a client until we recruit and we try to recruit them, right? Well, guess what? Before that decision, I was probably recruiting 3 to 5 people a month. Guess how many people we recruited the following month? 17 recruits. We went from 3 to 5 and struggling to get 3 to 5 to exploding to 17. And then we went from 17 to, I believe it was 18, and then we recruited 14. So we recruited over 70 something people in 3 months. But guess what? Did we change? Was it something crazy that we did? No, we just made a decision. So I challenge everybody on this call, if you have not made that decision, like Levi said, make the decision today, because all it takes is just a decision. And this is going to show you, once you make that decision, how you can build it, right? But once you start doing 10 recruits a month, your goal is now to get to 25, because the magic starts at 25 recruits a month. Why is this so important? Well, 15 people start licensing, or if you're using PropHog, 15 people are already licensed, right? That's crazy. Like when Michael starts showing his numbers and we're like, oh, we had 20 recruits and 16 are licensed. I'm like, wow, why am I not doing that? Why are we not doing that, right? Instead of waiting 2 to 3 months for them to get a license, they're already licensed when they come on board, right? So imagine 15 start licensing, or maybe you have 7 that are already licensed. You should expect 3 CFTs to come out of there. 7 licensed people, you take them on their 10 training appointments. That's 70 training appointments. Let me repeat that. 70 training appointments at a 30% close ratio. That's 23 clients at $5,000 in premium per client, which is not much. It's probably like $400 and something a month in premium. That's 116,000 points a month. You just did, well, this was the old EMD, right? But you almost hit EMD points in 1 month, right? So guess what? No matter what, whatever it takes, your goal, if you're not doing 10 recruits a month, is to get to 10 recruits a month. And I'm also talking to myself here, right? Us as a team, and my team, if you're on here, we need to get to 10 recruits a month, every single month consistently. Once you start doing 10 recruits a month consistently, then your goal is to get to 25. So those people that are doing DDR on this team, make sure your goal is now to get to 25 recruits a month. Once you start getting to 25, you run this system, and I guarantee you this will be the results that you're going to get. This is hitting MD in 1 month and EMD in 1 month, or almost hitting EMD in 1 month. All right, next. Volume allows you to find leaders faster. You know, this is kind of wild and kind of crazy, but at the practice company, when I would bring in a new agent that was serious, I would say, you need to get to 100 recruits. I said, what do you need to do? That's all I tell them, recruit 100 people. What do you need to do? Recruit 100 people. What do you need to do? Recruit 100 people. Why? Because once the magic number, it's weird, between 80 to 120 recruits, automatically you'll get EMD. But that's not you doing it all by yourself, right? That's you and a team doing it together. But the magic is volume, right? So there's something magic about hitting that 100 number as far as recruits, where you'll pretty much will become an EMD, or you'll find an EMD in that 100 recruits. All right, next thing, cold market. So you got to run the numbers, right? So sometimes we call leads, sometimes we're in the cold market. This is the numbers, 10, 6, 3, 1. For every 10 people you talk to, 6 will be interested, 3 will show up to an interview, and 1 guaranteed result. So if you want 10 recruits on your team, guess what? You need to talk to 100 people. Like Levi said, if you're only talking to one person a day and you got to get to 100 people, how many days is that going to take you to get to your 10 recruits? It's going to take you 100 days, right? That's a long time, right? That's more than 3 months. Would you rather it take 3 months to get 10 recruits, or would you rather it take 1 month, right? We'll run the numbers, 10, 6, 3, 1. In order for you to get 10 recruits on your team, you need to at least talk to 100 people, right? All right, next one. Let's talk about warm market and tap rooting. So whether you're doing leads or whether you're recruiting in the warm market, if you're doing the cold market leads, that will lead you into the warm market if you use what we call tap rooting. So I'm going to talk about the art of tap rooting. And Papa Cap talks about this. I don't know if you guys have known Greg Cap. Most of us know him. If you haven't heard from Greg Cap or talked about him, he's known as the king of tap rooting. They actually call it cap rooting because he was so good at tap rooting. But what is tap rooting? It's just borrowing relationships, right? So when you start to tap root, you are in the warm market, which is like a volcano right here on the left-hand side. So basically, when you recruit somebody, let's say his name is John, right? He understands why we recruit. If you explain this properly to a new business partner, basically, they're going to give you a list, right? Let's say they give you a list of 200 people. If you call 200 people, and this is where a lot of times the system breaks down, right? Maybe you're really good at getting a list. Maybe you got a list of 200 people. But let me ask you a question. Did you call all 200 people? Or did you just call about 5 of them and then stop, right? Or maybe did you get a list and then you're like, wow, this list is amazing, but I'm never going to call it, right? And I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of collecting tons of lists and never calling all of them, right? But the biggest recruiters, they call every single person on the list, right? So you go get a list. Let's say you get a list of 200 people. You call all 200 people. Worst case scenario, you'll at least have appointments with 100 of those people. And worst case scenario, you'll get at least 10 recruits. I mean, these are the numbers, right? These are the numbers in the warm inspirational marketing market. All right, now let's talk about tap rooting. Why is it so important? Because when we throw out those numbers about 10 recruits, 20 recruits, 100 recruits, 1,000 recruits, if you think about you doing it all by yourself, it seems kind of impossible, right? But let me ask you a question. What if they told you just go get 3 recruits? Is 3 recruits a little bit easier than 100 recruits, right? Anybody can get 3 recruits. Well, guess what? You go out there, you recruit somebody, right? Let's say I recruit Wendy, and I say, Wendy, we need to go out there and get your first promotion. You got to do your 360. So Wendy's like, all right, I'm excited. So we help Wendy get her 360. Guess what? You've now recruited 4 people, but you didn't do it. You went and helped your business partner, Wendy, get her first promotion. So now what is Wendy going to do? Wendy's going to go take her 3 new business partners, and they're going to go out there and get their first promotion. So you multiply that times 3, between 3 people, that's 39 recruits that you have. And all you did was help Wendy get her promotion and help her 3 people get their promotion. So doesn't that seem a lot easier than you going out there and having to get 39 recruits yourself, right? It's called the power of multiplication, right? It's addition versus multiplication. So 1 plus 1 equals 2, right? But 1 times 3 equals 3. 3 times 3 equals 9. So too many people are adding. We need to start multiplying, right? So that's called the power of tap rooting. So you go get 3, then you help your people get 3. And there you go. From one person, you just recruited 39 people. Doesn't that seem a lot more doable, a lot easier, right? But guess what? A lot of times we're using addition instead of multiplication. So we need to go out there and actually run the system and go out there and help our people get their promotions and really actually make those lists and really actually call those lists and call prop hog. And if we use taprooting, the power of taprooting, then guess what? You're going to be hitting those recruiting numbers a lot easier. There's going to be a lot of team promotions. You're going to have a lot of cash flow and a lot of production by using the power of taprooting and the power of 3. All right, stay warm. Nobody likes to be like this. Anybody like the cold, right? You know, I'm actually in California right now, but I was in Miami for 2 years. And I always say that I would rather be in heat than cold, right? I would rather be in humid heat than extreme cold, but I would rather be in the hot market versus the cold market. So I did this little chart here, and this is the power of building a team, right? So let's say me, let's say Gemini, right? She goes out there, or Latasha, here's you all by yourself, right? Well, guess what? Let's say we go out there and we get 3 direct recruits that are licensed to you, right? So anybody can you think it's impossible to get 3 licensed people on your team, or you think that's pretty doable? Type a 1 in the chat if you think you could get at least 3 licensed people on your team. Type a 1 in the chat if you think you could get at least 3 licensed people. Well, this is how you actually build an organization. So let's say, you know, Wendy, she goes out there and she drives her leg 4 deep. So Wendy has 4 licensed agents in her leg. And let's say Latasha, she goes out there and she drives her leg 4 deep. So there's 4 licensed agents in her leg. And then let's say, you know, Florio, he goes out there and he's my direct, right? These are all the 3 directs to me. And then they go drive their leg 4 deep. So how many licensed agents do I have on my team now? Or do you have on your team? You have 21 licensed agents, right? But all you did was get 3 people direct to you and drive their legs 4 deep. And now you have a solid business because these people are not going anywhere because they have a team of licensed agents. Now, what is the goal? How do you get to EMD? It's 150,000 points, right? 150,000 points. Well, guess what? If you built a team of 3 legs that are each four licenses and deep, all each agent had to do was 3,846 in production per month. 3,846 in production per month. What is that? 3,846 divided by 12. That's 300 in premium. That's $100 a month. You divide that by 3 sales. That's 3 sales of $106 a month that you and all your licensed agents have to do every single month to be able to hit EMD, right? What's easier, you going out there and having to do 75,000 points to yourself, or you building 3 legs that are 4 deep and licensed agents that all go do 3 sales of $106 a month for 3 months in a row, right? If you do that 3 months in a row, that's 13 producers, that's 52,000 points a month. That's 156,000 points in 3 months, and you and your team just hit the production for EMD. Doesn't that seem pretty doable? Anybody can go out there and have 3 directs and drive those legs 4 deep. But let me ask you a question. How many people on this call have a leg that's 4 deep, right? You should look at your team and be like, man, how many of my direct business partners have legs that are 4 deep, right? So if you want to hit EMD, those people that are on a run, right? All those people that are on a run for EMD, look at your team and say, how many of my directs, my direct business partners that are licensed have a leg that's 4 deep? All you need to do is drive 3 legs 4 deep. Make sure you and your team are doing 3 sales of $106 a month, and you and your team will hit EMD in 3 months. I mean, so some would say, wow, that's pretty doable, right? Now, let's talk about building an even bigger team. Because guess what? If you want to get to your next promotion, you need to have more than just 3 legs deep. Let's say you had 5 direct business partners and you drove each of those legs 4 deep. So let's say, I recruited Florian and Lorelei, I recruited Wendy, I recruited Todd, I recruited Natasha, I recruited Gemini. That's 5 directs. Those are direct to me, right? Now I told each of them, okay, guys, now our goal is to drive your team 4 deep in licensed agents. So each one of them drove their team 4 deep in licensed agents. Now you as the leader, you should be doing more than your team, right? You need to do more production than your team does, right? So what's our average premium in GFI? It's 6,000 points a month, right? So let's just say you as a leader, you're doing 12,000 points a month. So you're doing 2 average sales a month, right? So that's 12,000 points. And you say, hey guys, I'm doing 12,000 points a month. Can each one of you do at least 6,000 points a month? And they say, yes, we can do that, right? So guess what? You have 5 legs that are 4 deep. That means you have 21 licensed agents, including you. You're doing 12,000 points a month, and your team is doing 6,000 points a month each licensed agent, right? That's going to be 36,000 points in 3 months for you, personal, right? And 120,000 points for your team for those 3 months. That's over 360,000 points that you and your team are going to do in production, right? So I hope you guys are getting this. I hope this is making sense. So in order for you to have a true business, it's not just about recruiting people. It's not just about licensing people. It's about building a strong business. It's about building legs, building teams that are going to help each other all get to the next level, right? Just like Santos talked about the Nobility Exchange, you and your whole team are on a run, right? You say, hey, everybody, I'm going to commit to doing 12,000 points a month. All I expect is 6,000 points a month from each of you. But if you do that as your team, you will go over EMD by 210,000 points in 3 months. Now let's talk about cash flow. If you had your 5 legs 4 deep and you did 12,000 points a month, that means that your income as an MD, let's say as an MD, right? You would make 21,600 personal in those 3 months. And let's say your average override on your team is 15%. That's $54,000 in override income for those 3 months. So if you're an MD on here, who's an MD on here or that wants to be an EMD in the next 3 months? This should be your goal. You should go build 5 legs and drive those legs 4 deep. And then you need to go do 12,000 points a month, and your team does 6,000 points a month. And guess what you're going to make in 3 months? You're going to make $75,600 in 3 months. That's an average of $25,000 a month. And you're going to hit EMD. You're going to have MDs on your team. You're going to have cash flow on your team. You're going to have a team that sticks around because you have a business. And this is actually how you truly build a business. And this is on an MD cash flow. Imagine if you're EMD and you did this, right? And this is how we're going to get to the next levels of pop. If you're an EMD, you need to say, hey, how many directs do I have? I need to drive those directs 4 deep, and we need to all be on a run and to get to our next level. So I hope this made sense. This is where we take recruiting. They say width equals wealth. Depth equals stability. So this is how you build a solid team, and you make sure everybody's on a run and everybody's producing. And this is how we're gonna all easily get to our next level. So thank you guys. That's my part. I'll hand it back to Lorelei, and I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys got something out of that. I know maybe this is the first time some of you guys saw that, but if you're recruiting, make sure you're driving those legs 4 deep, so that you can actually build an actual business.
Awesome. Amazing. Yes, I have even heard it before, but listening to it and watching the numbers behind it, I'm like, we gotta do this. We gotta do this very well. So amazing. All these business principles, whether you've heard it before or this is the first time you're hearing it, take note. This is how you build a stable business. So thank you so much, Isaac, for adding value to the team. So finish strong. Everyone put finish strong. Let's see if you could actually type in the chat. My time is up. I'm gonna pass it to our very last closing speaker, the amazing leaders of the heroes hierarchy, multi seven-figure earner, do it first leader, knows how to recruit, knows how to sell, build. You heard Levi, knows how to do leads, advanced planning, inspirational marketing, all. And what I love about this couple, I think you know who it is, Rochelle and Michael. They live by the 5 F's. So not only are they doing all of that and being an example, and you see them on the cash flow, you see them recruiting, building, selling, all of it, but they live by the 5 F's. And that is who Florio and I follow. When Elle and Charlie have something important, Rochelle and Michael clear their calendar because they built us as leaders and put their God and family first. And when they were here to visit, we took them to church and had mass together on a Sunday. They don't just say like, oh, we live by the 5 F's. They live by the 5 F's. So I can talk so much more, but I want to pass it to Mr. Michael Chernowski to close us out on this amazing, life-changing Super Saturday. I want to run through a wall, and I'm sure after hearing him, I'm going to run through too. Michael. We cannot hear you, Michael, but we can hear your it's on, but we don't hear you.
Quick troubleshooting, Michael, Michael, do you know we can't hear you? I just happen to know there's another office inside the house that you could run up to and do your training from here. Or, yeah.
It's just adversity that doesn't want us to hear our amazing leader speak. But hey, we don't panic, we pivot. It happens sometimes, like we never use Zoom. And if like Florio or my something doesn't work, glad we have each other.
I'll see if I can, while he transitions up to this other office. Here he comes. I'll see if I can get his microphone working because I'm sure he'll be much more comfortable there. Yeah. Well, I'll try to get it working. Somebody tell a joke.
Who has a dad joke? That would not be my department.
Why did the pie go to the dentist?
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Filling.
All right, here I am.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
God we have two offices here. Fired up, guys. Listen, I just want to shout out to Isaac. That was incredible. Great nuggets, man. Incredible stuff. Lorelai, great job emceeing today. The master of ceremonies, that was incredible. Santos, the exchange principles, givers gain, such an incredible concept. Great job, Wendy, on recruiting. And Levi brought the fire, didn't you guys? I'm glad you guys waited till the end. But I just want to say, guys, as we wrap up here today, what an incredible training. Let's make sure we're mobilizing our teams. It's the first Saturday of every month after the numbers update, after the month closes out, we'll be doing this, our Super Saturdays. I'd love to see everybody in person. It's great that we got to see you guys all on Zoom. But I just want to say, like, the second half is the best half. Everything that we do in this business is a 90-day cycle. So I want you guys to say, hey, Levi shared some great nuggets, 115-3315, 5525, like, we got to go out there and get to work. We got to go out there and help families. We just helped one of our a family just a couple years ago, and they just called me this last week. They need a living benefit. Like, what we do really changes lives. What we do is going to make a huge impact on the community. What we do is going to make a huge impact on your family's life as well. So I'm so proud and honored to lead this team. I'm so humbled that I get to be in business and in life with you guys. And I want to see everybody here as a partner in our company. Did you guys hear Levi? Like, this is contractual ownership, right? Nobody else out there has this, and we have that here at GFI. We want to get you guys to the top of this company, right? So as we say, nonstop to the top, right? But we also say nonstop to the pop, right? Nonstop to the pop. So let's make the next 90 days of your business the best 90 days. You're one recruit away from an explosion. And I want you guys to post in the chats, what are you going to implement at the speed of instruction, right? I had a great coaching call with Levi this last week, about an hour and a half long. It was incredible. Why? Because we work together as a team, right? We're partners in this company. You guys realize that? That you guys can be a partner with Levi. You guys can be a partner with Santos and Carolina, right? You can be a partner with Mario Bayona. You can be a partner with Florio and Lorelei, right? That's the incredible thing about it here, is that you can actually override the whole company, right? But we got to get to work. We got to make that commitment to ourselves. Don't make it to us, make it to yourself, make it to your family, that you're going to do whatever it takes to get to the top of this company, right? Let me tell you this, the hard work up front, they say the dream is real, right? But the hustle is sold separately, right? And you got to hustle, right? But here's what's going to happen is that through that hustle, right? Through all that grind, through all that getting the rocket off the ground, right? You're going to learn so much, build so much confidence, build so much knowledge in this business. You're going to start changing parts of your life, right? You're going to start seeing changes in how you are with your family, changes on how you are in your community, with your team. And the incredible thing is that those changes are making you better, right? We talk about GFI being the best version of ourselves, the 5 F's. That's something that we work on every single day here in our household, right? We want you to be the best version and live the best version of your life. So thank you all for this incredible, incredible training. Once again, what's your implementation, right? What's your implementation quotient, right? What's your IQ, implementation quotient? How fast are you going to implement what you learned today? Let's get there to the top, guys, because the bottom is way too crowded. All right, everybody, let's have an all-out August. Let's make it happen. Let's help some families. Shout out to all of you who've helped families this last week. We still have a lot of time over the weekend. We have a lot of time on Sunday, right? This is when families are at home. This is when they need help, right? I know Mark, my buddy Mark Rubin, he's like, man, I'm hosting a phone zone this afternoon, right? Why? Because whatever it takes, there's people out there who need help today. Let's get on the phones, right? Closing is helping, right? Let's go out there and help families. Let's change the industry and let's change the world here with GFI. At GFI, guys, what do we say, everybody? Let's go for it.
Go for
All
it.
right, guys, let's have an awesome, awesome day. God bless. So blessed to be in business with you all.